Hello everyone. This is your friend from Naruto Audio Fanfics, and we are back once again with a brand new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki was banished from Konoha and found a new destiny beyond the Western Wall with Hinata, Part 2. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing Naruto fanfics like this. So without wasting any more time, let's start today's fanfic. They were a poor sight to see when entering Konoha. They looked, felt, and even smelled bad from all the stuff they had been through in the Empire. When they made it back into the Leaf, they went straight for the Hokage Tower, where the Hokage, the councils, and clan heads were waiting for their report. Jiraiya, Kakashi, Kurenai, what the hell happened? Said Tsunade, as she saw the state of her shinobi, and wondered what the Emperor did to them over there. We met the Emperor. He was less than pleased with our arrival and even less with our requests when asked why we were in the Empire, said Jiraiya, wincing ever so slightly. This is an act of war, said a civilian councilman angrily. A war we would have no chance of ever winning, said Danzo with a glare to the idiot to shut his mouth. Danzo was all for war, but only wars he knew the Leaf could win, and make his own side of the village even more powerful. In any case, the Emperor is not going to return Hyuga Hinata, or Uzumaki Naruto back here no matter how much we want him to comply, said Jiraiya, seeing every Leaf official in the room scowling at being denied. Let him keep my failure for a daughter. She's just a corpse now, said Hiashi smugly at knowing all the Empire had was a dead body with sealed Byakugan eyes. No, she's not, said Kurenai while seeing the surprise on their faces. What do you mean? The cage bird seal should have killed her, said Hiashi, as he now felt a sense of panic rise up into his chest, and didn't like it one bit. Apparently, the Emperor saw fit to remove the cage bird seal from Hinata, as he most likely considered it to be barbaric, and has decided Hinata will be much safer with him in the Empire, said Kakashi, seeing Hiashi stand up, his Byakugan eyes blazing with anger, and looking now at the Hokage. I want this Emperor dead, Tsunade. I do not care if he is their leader of the Empire in the West. He has my daughter and thus the Byakugan eyes in his possession. I will not allow this man to take what is not his from my clan, said Hiashi, as he was going to appeal this action to the Fire Daimyo, and make the Emperor hand over his daughter. There's more. We know the identity of the Emperor of the Western Elemental Empire, said Jiraiya while catching everyone's interest. Who is he? Said Tsunade while Jiraiya and the others looked hesitant to answer. The Emperor is Uzumaki Naruto, said Jiraiya, and waited for the inevitable yelling from the people in the room. And wasn't disappointed. With a span of no less than 5 seconds, the councils and the clan heads began their shouting at what do with this truth revealed to them. Some called for the death of the Emperor, others wanted to use the realm of politics by having the feudal lords of the East denounce the man's right to be emperor, and abdicate his throne before being brought back to face their justice. This continued on for a good 10 minutes, maybe more than that, since the shouting of different things was causing headaches, and thus made it appear longer before Tsunade finally had enough. Stop! Yelled Tsunade, as her voice silenced everyone else's, and turned their attention to Jiraiya to continue his report. Naruto is less than pleased with us. In short, the Gaki would sooner rip our guts out than save anyone in the village, and not only that, but he also knows the truth, Tsunade, said Jiraiya, seeing the woman's eyes widen while everyone around her looked between the two in confusion. How? Said Tsunade, demanded, and saw Jiraiya sigh, knowing there was more to it than just Naruto figuring things out on his own. Kyuubi told him. Most likely after Naruto set him free, said Jiraiya before the room was once more filled with shouting. This is outrageous. I will not accept the demon and that boy are separate entities. They are one and the same, said Inuzuka Sume in anger. No, Mom. You're wrong, said Kiba in a humble tone that caught everyone's attention. What? Said Sume, not believing her son just said she was wrong. I said you're wrong. All right, yelled Kiba while not believing he just did that with his mother sharing that same line of thinking. But, it's not possible, said Sume, as she didn't know what to think, and neither did the clan heads. We saw Naruto first with the Kyuubi appearing behind a nearby pillar when Sakura had demanded proof they were separate entities. Kyuubi even went so far as to let someone else in the room injure him with blood being drawn, and further proved that he wasn't one of Naruto's shadow clones under the disguise of a hench. We were wrong, Mom. So wrong, said Kiba, as he saw the shock on his mom's face, and realized that was the look on his own when the news first hit him. If only I could get near the Kyuubi while in the heart of the Empire, I could manipulate it to destroying everything, and thus use him to take control in the following chaos, thought Danzo, knowing that was most likely be impossible given how anyone in the Leaf would most likely be killed on sight. Tsunade. Back to Naruto, knowing the truth I mentioned earlier. The Gaki wants it all, and by all I mean everything. Said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade's eyes widen. He can't. I won't allow it, said Tsunade, while once again causing confusion among the councils and clan heads at her reaction. What does the Emperor want? What is this truth you keep referring to? Said Shibi, as he saw the group wince, and even his son looked away in shame. Don't say it, Jiraiya, said Tsunade, scowl, but surprisingly Jiraiya returned the glare with his own, and it was clear the man had reached his limit with her. Oh, grow up, Tsunade. It's going to get out one way or another. It might as well be from us before the fire daimyo comes back to really chew us all out, said Jiraiya fiercely. Will you just tell us the secret already? Said Koharu impatiently. Uzumaki Naruto is the son of the Yondaime Hokage, said Kakashi, which no surprise once more caused shouting to erupt, and cause everyone to get a major headache. Impossible, said one person. I will not accept this, said another. That man is a liar and abomination, said Homura, while the shouting around them just continued. Shut up, yelled Tsunade, with the room being quiet once more. Again, it was Kyuubi himself who informed Naruto of this, and the fact we had been entrusted to being his godparents, said Jiraiya, while Tsunade gritted her teeth in anger while everyone around her just couldn't believe this information to be true. We abused the son of the Yondaime Hokage, said Shikaku, knowing his wife was going to send him to the hospital tonight far worse than she ever did in past. Probably just past the time she was pregnant with their son and her hormones went super crazy. Naruto wanted to give us a chance to hand over his inheritance before taking matters into his own hands, and I strongly advise we give him everything, said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade close her eyes for a second in thought. My answer is no, said Tsunade, which surprised everyone, and that it was not the answer they were expecting. What? Hokage-sama, why? Said Inoichi, seeing Tsunade's eyes narrow. Because I said so. If that brat wants what he claims is his, then he has to come here by himself, and take it from me, said Tsunade firmly. Hokage-sama, you have no standing to make that decision, and to say no would further bring about the wrath of the Empire, said Anko, as she saw Tsunade glare at her, and knew this woman was in no mood for anyone defending Naruto's position. Hokage-sama, this was given to us by Kyuubi to hand to you in the event you decided this course of action, and he called it incentive, said Kakashi before handing the Slug Princess the scroll. And what could Kyuubi have in his possession within this scroll that would want me to bow to the whims of that brat? Said Tsunade, as she casually opened the scroll, and quickly threw it away before it caught on fire. The fire itself manifested into a single form in red samurai armor and revealed himself to be Kyuubi. Oh man. And I thought the kid's stomach was a cramped space when sealed away, said Kyuubi, cracking his back and working out the kinks in his body. Kyuubi. But how? Said Jiraiya, with the fox just smirking at him. 2 words, Sanin. Shadow clones. I mean, the kid is a master at using that jutsu with, or without my chakra backing him up. It's not like I don't know how to use it after being with him for so long, said Kyuubi before turning to face the terrified people in the room that made his vessel's life so miserable. What are you doing here, Kyuubi? Answer me or I'll use every ounce of power at my disposal to crush you, said Tsunade, standing up and glaring at the demon fox. Please, spare me your posturing in being the tough, staring into the face of death, kind of Hokage you make yourself out to be, Tsunade. We both know with a flick of my wrist or tails that this village will be crater while being nothing more than a distant memory, said Kyuubi, seeing Tsunade grit her teeth in anger, knowing he was right. All the more reason for me to act now and turn you against the Empire, said Danzo, as he rose from his seat, and revealed the Sharingan eye behind the bandages on his face. And here I thought you couldn't get any uglier, said Kyuubi, while Danzo smirked at him before the old war hawk revealed his altered arm. I've waited for this moment for years, only to be denied by that fool Sarutobi, and then later when your vessel escaped my root forces. Now bow to your new master and future ruler of the world," said Danzo, using the Sharinganai to bring the fox under his power. "Sorry. I don't bow to humans, who would use things, and force others into submission with it," said Kyuubi, seeing the shocked look on Danzo's face at the bloodlines he stole not having any effect. "This isn't possible. I know for a fact the Uchiha and Senju bloodlines have the power to tame you," said Danzo, as he tried again with the Senju bloodline, but found Kyuubi was unaffected by that bloodline, and gritted his teeth in anger. "Oh, they were. I'm actually ashamed to admit. But that was before Naruto removed that weakness, and set me free from such outside forces influencing me to do someone else's dirty work. Those days are over," said Kyuubi with an evil grin on his face. "Impossible. Kneel. I command it," said Danzo, trying again and still having no luck in bending Kyuubi to his will. "I have a better idea. How about instead of me kneeling, you die, and your soul goes straight to hell," said Kyuubi, as he was upon Danzo in an instant, his clawed hand wrapped around the old man's throat, and another on the mixed bloodline-filled arm, before ripping it clean off and burning it. "No. Doesn't that foolish Uzumaki know what he's done? Without those bloodlines being effective against you, the Leaf Village, and any place you wish to destroy will be destroyed without any opposition," said Danzo with Kyuubi grinning at him. "Of course he does. In fact, it was the reason Naruto did what he did in the first place, and basically didn't want me to have such an excuse for the next time I want to go on a rampage again," said Kyuubi before plucking the Sharinganai out of Danzo's skull and crushed it. "He is a fool. The man has unleashed an unrestrained evil on the world," said Danzo with Kyuubi scowling at him. "No. You controlling demons like me to rule over others is an unrestrained evil. Goodbye, Danzo," said Kyuubi before he consumed the man in fire and turned the old fool to ashes. "Foul demon. You and your former vessel will pay for this." "Anbu," said Kaharu, as she saw the room filled with Anbu with weapons drawn, and ready to fight. "I don't think so. You see, even if you sealed me away in another child before killing that innocent soul, I'm not going to just disappear off the radar, and be lost to the Empire. In fact, I don't know how any of you even thought that killing a demon's vessel kills the very demon sealed into them, and just shows me how little you know of sealing," said Kyuubi, seeing Kaharu and Homura go pale in the face, since that was clearly the initial plan after he was weakened by Konoha's forces. "Tsunade. Call them off. We don't have the means to fight him, and we both know only a newborn Uzumaki has the strength to contain him," said Jiraiya, knowing that any child used other than one of Uzumaki blood would never have the strength to contain Kyuubi's power. "You should listen to him. I came for what is Naruto's, and I have no problem killing just about everyone in Konoha until I get what I'm here to collect," said Kyuubi, seeing the female Hokage in front of him growl angrily. "You have a lot of nerve being here, Kyuubi. Even more for trying to take everything that belonged to the Yondaime," said Tsunade, seeing Kyuubi scoff. "Naruto inherited those things from him, you old hag. Or have you forgotten the Uzumaki blood that runs through your veins? Have you forgotten that I was once sealed inside your own grandmother?" said Kyuubi, while Tsunade became even angrier. "What's your point?" said Tsunade, seeing Kyuubi's eyes narrow dangerously at her. "My point, in case all the sake you've been drinking over the years has destroyed your brain, is the simple fact your godson is also an Uzumaki too, and you betray them all by doing what you did years ago, the very day Naruto was born. You are unworthy of very blood that in your veins on both sides of the family," said Kyuubi before Tsunade's anger reached its peak and she threw a punch at the fox. Only for Kyuubi to catch it. That was a bad move, thought Jiraiya while seeing Kyuubi's now stone face looking at Tsunade's shocked one. "I take it this is your final answer in terms of giving Naruto was as rightfully his," said Kyuubi before he used his own strength to easily squeeze her fist and the sound of bones breaking could be heard. "You," said Tsunade, seeing angrily before Kyuubi grinned evilly at her. "Sorry to disappoint you, Tsunade, but you're not my type, and I wouldn't touch you even for the chance to sit on Kami's throne of power," said Kyuubi before he slammed Tsunade onto the ground using the limb he was holding to do it, followed by swinging her up and around into a wall. Tsunade fell to the ground when gravity pulled the slug princess to it before she tried to get up, but Kyuubi was already there, picking her right off the ground by the neck, his fist landing punch after punch to the woman hard in the gut, and making the female Hokage puke up blood. He then threw her into a wall, slugged Tsunade in the face, a nasty bruise already forming, and then Kyuubi threw the woman onto the floor with enough force to cause a body imprint. In fact, a bit more pressure from Kyuubi, down onto the spot where Tsunade was flat on her back, the woman would get sent down to the level below, and there was no telling if the demon would stop there. Kyuubi-sama, please stop, hurt Tsunade. She's had enough, said Jiraiya pleadingly to the demon. But Kyuubi was in no mood to listen. I don't think she has. While you two were embracing your vices, smiling from the joys they brought, and having an all-around good time. My vessel suffered beatings like this one. Countless beatings. He tried to plead for them to stop, but they didn't listen, and just continued to make his life miserable. You two could have stopped it. You two could have stayed in the village, raised Naruto like he was your own, and showed him love. Do you honestly think this minor beating Tsunade is getting is enough? Perhaps you would like to join her after I put this bitch in a full body cast. Said Kyuubi while glaring at Jiraiya, who kept his mouth shut, and looked away from the demon. Jiraiya. Help. Me. Please. Said Tsunade looking up to her former teammate before the looming shadow of Kyuubi's form blocked it and the crimson eyes glowing. Your teammate can't help in bailing you out anymore, Tsunade. Not with the heavy debt you owe your godson, said Kyuubi coldly before he brought his leg up high and then slammed it down on Tsunade's gut with more than enough force to send the woman through the floor down the next one along with the floor after that. All the way down to the bottom. Damn. Thought Jiraiya before seeing Kyuubi refocus on the others in the room. Don't think I haven't forgotten about the rest of you. I have something far more cruel in mind for the rest of you maggots. You basically screwed over my vessel out of spite for me, not even caring, or even considering the fact you could be wrong about Naruto. Your own pride blinding you to the truth that he was not me and never was from the start, and look where it's gotten you. So here is what's going to happen. You are not only going to give me everything that belongs to Naruto, which isn't nailed down, and all the money in his accounts to be transferred to the one he has in Spring Country under Uzunado. Then, you are going to announce to the rest of the village just who was Naruto's parents, and how they are on their own regarding any kind of help from devils they couldn't put down because of their stupidity. That was the one thing the Shadaime, Nadaime, Sandaime, and the Yondaime always did when they were Hokage of Konoha. They never let too many enemies come up to the point where there were too many to be put down, and because of your arrogance, the leaf is practically doomed to fall because of the belief that Konoha is invincible, said Kyuubi, seeing the clan heads look away in shame because they knew the demon was right while the others just grumbled in slight admittance. We'll see to it the emperor gets everything, said Homura while Kyuubi just grinned at the shinobi council. Sorry, but fruit from the poisonous tree is just as poisonous, and therefore I'm not biting into what you're producing, said Kyuubi before unleashing a whip of fire on Kaharu and Homura that killed them instantly. Don't kill us, said one civilian councilman in fear. We were only following orders, said another one. Piss off, said Kyuubi before he incinerated them too. I take it we're being spared for a reason, said Jiraiya, knowing Kyuubi could have killed all of them in one move rather than kill them all separately. Of course you are. You are going to ensure everything with the Namikaze name is given to me to give to Naruto, and if so much as a single drop of sealing ink is missing, I will finish what I started years ago, said Kyuubi, seeing Jiraiya nod his head. We'll make sure everything that you ask of us is done, said Jiraiya while Kyuubi just grinned at him. I'm glad we could reach an agreement on this, said Kyuubi before walking out of the room with the Anbu parting the area to let him pass. Unknown location. This report can't be right, said Orochimaru, as he looked at right hand of a medic Nin Kabuto, who nodded to indicate that it was accurate, and it was not a good report. It is Orochimaru-sama. Unknown assassins killed the Earth Daimyo, the Tsuchikage, the Lightning Daimyo, and the Raikage in such a short time span. No one knows just who was responsible for it, but it's clear that someone wishes to halt the tide of war here in the elemental countries, and your goals in the world, said Kabuto with Orochimaru snarling in anger. Could it be the Akatsuki? They are after the Jinchuriki, and that explosive nutcase in the group was from there with a grudge against Iwa, said Orochimaru, but thought against the idea the Akatsuki were responsible for kill the first two targets, as Deidara from Iwa would have made an explosive device to blow the village up, and even then the results from such a way of destroying a village would gain them nothing. It was silent. A stealth kill. One to remove people at the top from the equation of the ongoing war. Kumo, Iwa, and Orochimaru himself had been allied in waging against the other villages. Namely the Leaf. With their allies abandoning them after they banished Uzumaki Naruto, Orochimaru had talked to Kumo and Iwa while using their hatred for Konoha to bring them together with him in a mutual alliance. The Raikage himself had been reluctant at first to join in an alliance with Orochimaru, as he had heard of how the Sannin had betrayed Tsunade's previous cage, and wouldn't put it past the man to do it again. However, the promise of a Hyuga, perhaps several of them once the war was over, had proved to be too much for the Raikage, and they were still smarting from the loss of the Nibi Jinchuriki ni Yugito. They suspected the Akatsuki had disposed of the woman after extracting the Biju, but Killer Bee had apparently told the Raikage that his Biju could sense the Nibi was alive, and far away from their side of the world. The old Tsuchikage had wanted revenge on Konoha for years, as the losses taken by the Yondaime Hokage were still hurting them, and then the loss of their two Jinchuriki was even worse. Iwa had originally suspected Konoha was involved after they got rid of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, since both Han and Roshi's beasts equaled 9 tails in power. But that was soon shot down by spies in the Leaf, who gave reports stating neither one was seen in Konoha, and were just as baffled by the loss of the Jinchuriki from all over. Only 2 Jinchuriki were left in the elemental countries, yet the Akatsuki didn't have any of them, and the one demon they did have was only after it manifested itself 3 years later. Roughly around the time Yagura, the late Mizukage, died at the hands of the rebels while being the Jinchuriki, and thus set the demon free to slowly reform again in the waters of the world. How do you wish to proceed, Orochimaru-sama? Without the command of either side's highest officials, their armies cannot be mobilized, and we cannot crush the Leaf like we planned, said Kabuto, seeing Orochimaru become even angrier. It doesn't matter. We don't need Iwa or Kumo for our invasion plan. I only had them join to keep my own forces from suffering more casualties than necessary when this started. Who is the current cage of Iwa and Kumo now? Said Orochimaru, wondering how he could manipulate these events. The late Sandame Tsuchikage's granddaughter. She was never for the war with Konoha once it was revealed their Jinchuriki weren't in Konoha. The Raikage's younger brother, the 8-tailed Jinchuriki named Killer Bee, has taken over for his brother, and was also against fighting an unnecessary war with the Leaf since he wished to redirect the village to fighting the Akatsuki, said Kabuto, with Orochimaru gritting his teeth in anger. Neither are intimidated easily. I can't just seal off the 8-tailed Jinchuriki like I did the Kyuubi vessel, because the man has apparently become strong without his demon helping him. Kuretsuchi is like her grandfather in regards to doing what she puts her mind to and is too stubborn to have it changed. We'll crush Konoha now. Prepare our forces. I want to stand on my sensei's monument head and stain it with the very blood of his people, said Orochimaru with an evil grin on his face. I'll give the order, Orochimaru-sama, said Kabuto, knowing it would take a few days to mobilize everyone. Konoha several days later. Is this everything? Said Kyuubi while glaring at Jiraiya and looking into his very soul to detect if he was lying. Yeah, everything was done just like you asked, said Jiraiya, who had been healed up by Sakura, but even then it was considered unwise for him to be on his feet for too long, and Shizune was healing Tsunade, though the Hokage's injuries were far more severe, with her condition required staying in a hospital bed for at least another week. And the people now know the truth, said Kyuubi, as he saw Jiraiya nod, but the demon fox already knew it had, and just wanted to rub it in further. Yeah, not everyone is happy about hearing it though, said Jiraiya, with Kyuubi scoffing at him. Talk to someone who actually cares if they're happy, and then give me their names so I can smash their faces in. I'm taking this stuff back to the Western Elemental Empire, so the house, the scrolls, and everything that is Namikaze sealed away in this scroll, with the only one opening it being of Namikaze blood, said Kyuubi, as he had all the items that Naruto wanted, and the money was transferred to the bank in Spring Country before it was retransferred again to the Empire. Well, no one is going to stop you, said Jiraiya, seeing Kyuubi nod. Goodbye, said Kyuubi, as he was gone in a flash of crimson, and left Konoha in a state of depression no one could get around. Barbecue restaurant. I feel like such an, said Kiba, as he poked his food, and not feeling very hungry. We betrayed the most loyal Leaf shinobi that Konoha has had in a long time. All Naruto wanted from us was friendship, and we spit on him for something that wasn't even true to begin with. We betrayed the very convictions this village was founded on, said Shino, as he had confronted his father about this, and the truth regarding Naruto to see if the man knew. Shibi admitted that he did know the truth about Naruto not being Kyuubi, but to preserve the Aburame clan in village filled with a vast majority of people, who hated Uzumaki Naruto while growing up, logic dictated he along with the rest of his clan simply follow everyone else's lead, and thus think illogically. An ironic way of doing things and in the end proved to be completely stupid in the long run for the clan by making them all look like hypocrites. How do we make this up to him? Said Ino, as she felt just like Kiba did, and had yelled at her father for poisoning her mind in the belief Naruto was the Kyuubi. She had never used so many swear words in her life or aimed them at her own parents no less until a few days ago. We can't. The village is sinking and we're going along with it. Like filthy rats living on a sinking ship. Even with the councils effectively removed from play, outside forces just like Orochimaru will find out about this, and believe this is the perfect chance to strike before crushing the leaf for good, said Shikamaru, knowing the entire village no longer had the will of fire at the moment to fight anyone. It was practically snuffed out by their own hands. How's Neji holding up? Said Kiba, knowing Ino did her own rounds at the hospital and saw the once prideful Hyuga branch family member. He's been quiet. Has been since Kyuubi paid him a visit. From what I heard, they had some kind of conversation, and it was about the Hyuga clan's future. Don't know what exactly, but apparently Hiashi tried to interfere, and is now blind after Kyuubi put a seal of his own on him, said Ino, having heard the rumors, and Hiashi being absent from the public life of Konoha seemed to confirm them. The ultimate punishment for anyone with a dojutsu-based bloodline, said Kiba while thinking the Uchiha was next. Speaking of such people, I heard Sasuke didn't exactly take the news regarding Naruto on both counts very well, and tried what Danzo did in the meeting room, said Shino, as he knew of Sasuke's quest for power, and any measure to seize it. Yeah, he did. Even with the damage done to him, that jerk still tried to pick a fight when he shouldn't have. I was there when he tried to. Sasuke called Kyuubi the fox pet of the Uchiha clan, and was determined to bring the demon back under Uchiha control. That it was his revenge against Naruto for having that blind taijutsu fighter in Spring Country ruin any chance of him reviving the Uchiha clan through his own body. Not only did it fail, but Kyuubi had ripped Sasuke's eyes from their sockets, and crushed them in his hands, said Shikamaru while muttering, troublesome, under his breath. Not like Sasuke would have revived his clan even if he had balls, said Kiba while Ino glared at him. What does that mean? Said Ino while seeing Kiba roll his eyes. Oh come on Ino. Even you've seen it. The way the girls that threw themselves at him were turned down. The way he would be around guys when Sasuke thought no one was looking. Uchiha Sasuke is gay, said Kiba with Ino's face going red with anger. You take that back, said Ino with Kiba just looking at her for a second and then Shino. Can you help me out here Shino? You've seen it, said Kiba with Shino nodding. I have noticed Uchiha Sasuke does seem to hang out around the males of Konoha more than females. My bugs have also informed me of his pheromone output doubling when around strong male shinobi, said Shino, seeing Ino looking at him now in shock. So Sasuke is really gay, said Ino, seeing Shino nod. All current data from my observations of him have concluded he is, and most likely in the closet, as they say, said Shino with Ino smashing her head onto the table and a rain cloud formed over her head. Does Sakura know? Said Ino, her head shooting up. Not like it matters. Sasuke can't reproduce, lost his eyes, and the fact he's gay just means no one short of Uchiha Itachi himself is going to be able to revive the Uchiha clan, said Shikamaru, knowing the Uchiha clan wasn't really a popular clan right now to bring back from the brink. At least Sasuke can walk. Lee's permanently crippled this time. That Tifa Lockhart in the Taijutsu tournament in Spring Country knew where to hit him, said Kiba while Ino winced since she had seen him in the hospital and told the bad news by Tsunade about being crippled forever this time. Talk about karma. Naruto busted his on every mission he went on, and one of them was to bring Senju Tsunade back to heal the injured after Orochimaru crashed our very first Chunin exams. Lee was paralyzed from the waist down after his fight with Sabaku no Gara then, and Naruto brought back the one person who could give him his life back. When Lee denounced Naruto into being a demon, I will painfully admit that my way of thinking was along his too, just without the springtime of youth. Stuff. And hated our blonde former friend, said Shikamaru, sighing in despair. We made our choice in following what the village believed about him, and it was wrong from the start, said Ino, wondering what was next for them all. There's nothing short of a miracle from saving the village, is there? Said Kiba, seeing Shikamaru shaking his head. Nothing short of Kami sending us back in time to our past selves and kicking our own asses before stopping the village from making a big mistake will save us all from total destruction, said Shikamaru, with the others looking down with depression-filled faces. Who would save them now? Imperial Palace the next day. So it has begun, said Naruto, looking over a report given to him by one of his agents in the Thieves' Guild. Apparently so. Suna also sent a report to us regarding the exact same thing. Orochimaru is on the warpath against Konoha and marching his forces to the village as we speak. The Akatsuki are going after Killer Bee, and Iwa has just heard the news of you being the son of the Yondaime, said General Iroh, who had felt it best to hand this information over to Naruto right away, and prepare a defense of the empire itself. And Iwa wants blood for the apparent sins of the father I never knew. Are the Dai Li in position to defend the wall? Said Naruto, seeing General Iroh nod. With watchful eyes and ear, my emperor, said General Iroh while seeing the gears in the emperor's head turning. Good. Your brother and the fire division troops are to assist with an offensive attack on them. Iwa thinks because they have large numbers and are right next to the wall that they can get whatever it is they want from me. They think we're like the leaf in being stagnant in times of peace and become soft enough to win against in a fight. It's time to remind them why there is even a wall standing between them and us in the first place. Said Naruto, seeing General Iroh nod in understanding the order. No mercy, my emperor. Said General Iroh, knowing such order from the emperor was to be followed to the letter. Show no mercy, General Iroh. I want the death toll of the enemy to be so massive from this one battle that the losses they took at the hands of my father will seem like a small handful by comparison. The people of the empire are my people, and I will not see it be invaded with the people in it hurt by an army of Iwa shinobi with a grudge aimed against me, said Naruto before he got on his fox helmet and sheathed his sword. My emperor, said General Iroh while he saw the look in Naruto's eyes of a man getting ready to fight. This is a grudge aimed at me. These Iwa shinobi want me, General Iroh. It would be rude not to show up to greet my uninvited guests and show them the way out of my empire, said Naruto, seeing General Iroh nod. Your future wife will not be happy about this, said General Iroh, as he saw Naruto sigh and stop at the door. I can't let this be ignored, and I can't let my men fight a battle that does not involve them for me. What kind of emperor would I be if my men fight every single battle without me there? I can't just sit back and let them fight an enemy that hates only me. If I were to ignore this and simply do nothing, then I am not worthy of being the emperor of this empire. Then I am not the man Hinata can say without question that she loves with all her heart, said Naruto, seeing General Iroh nod in understanding. I understand. Let's hurry though. I want to get home to see my nephew and beat him in Pai Sho again, said General Iroh while Naruto just smirked underneath his mask. Will do, General, said Naruto, as they headed out, and put an end to this war before it even started. The wall. Hours later, the army of Iwa shinobi ranging from Shunin to Junin marched on the orders of their new Tsuchikage Kuretsuchi, who was the granddaughter of the woman's predecessor, and the female Kage herself leading the charge. While the woman no longer had any kind of problems with the leaf at the moment, which was different from her grandfather's stance, she did have an issue with the Namikaze, and son of the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, currently residing as the emperor of the Western Elemental Empire. Everyone in Iwa hated the Yondaime Hokage for his slaying of so many of their comrades in the last shinobi war, which made the man himself so infamous, and feared with that one ninjutsu that was responsible for the victory. Now his son was the emperor of this new empire and living a life of luxury behind this damn wall forged before her grandfather's time. Break this damn wall down. I want to show everyone from Spring Country's daimyo to the emperor himself that this wall won't stop us from avenging our comrades slain by the Yondaime Hokage, said Kuretsuchi, as she stared at the massive wall, and wished it was destroyed by her stare alone. Iwa shinobi soon began to bombard the wall with countless explosive tags, large animal summons, earth jutsus, and fire jutsus at the wall. However, the seals left on it by the Uzumaki clan ages ago had not faded, and neither did their repelling power that they were designed to do when the wall was hit. High above, Naruto watched with anger at these fools, thinking they could destroy this barrier between the continents, and invade his empire. An empire he fought, bled, and nearly died forging in order to bring peace to the once chaotic side of the elemental countries. Now these fools below, these children thinking they were adults, dared to poke the eye of the sleeping dragon with a mere stick, and believe they would come out on top in the end. General Ozai, are your men ready? Said Naruto, his sword drawn. Yes, my emperor, said Ozai in full fire division battle armor. Good. Now General, let's bring them hell, said Naruto, as he leapt off the wall, and Ozai along with his fire division troops doing the same, while the Dai Li under General Iroh were on the wall releasing earth jutsus down on Iwa's animal summons to make them dispel. The Imperial Fire Division troops lived up to their names, as they unleashed wave after wave of fire in steady streams down upon the Iwa shinobi, and while the earth jutsus were easy for the enemy of the Empire to dodge, the fire wasn't. Fireballs at high speed left Iwa shinobi badly burned. The massive streams of fire launched from the Imperial Fire Division troops incinerated countless enemy shinobi, and Naruto himself sliced through those that came at him without mercy. The Iwa shinobi had focused on Naruto the moment he landed after making a massive crater from landing on the ground, and tried their best to end the reign of the Emperor of the Western Elemental Empire. They fell at the hand of his sword. I'm surprised you haven't used your father's signature jutsu on us yet, said Kuretsuchi, as she now stood across from Naruto, and glaring at him with intense anger. I fight my own battles, Tsuchikage. I don't need to use anything of my father's just to win against his spiteful enemies, who choose to become mine simply for what he did so many years ago, and before I was even born, said Naruto, as he saw Kuretsuchi remove her cage robes, and saw she was in full battle gear. You're going to wish you had, said Kuretsuchi angrily at him. Funny. Han and Roshi almost the exact same thing when they first fought me before I convinced them to see things from my point of view, said Naruto, as he now fought the female Kage in a battle of swordsmanship, and had to admit the woman was good. For an Iwa shinobi. So it was you. You took them both away from Iwa. Not the leaf or the Akatsuki, said Kuretsuchi, as she tried to take Naruto's head off, and missed when the Namikaze ducked under it. Of course I did. They were both miserable. Being treated only as weapons. Never being appreciated for being the deterrence of war they had been turned into by your predecessor. When I told them of the Empire being a place where they could be free from such things, they accepted almost instantly, and even their demons inside of them agreed when I said it was possible for all of them to be free, said Naruto, as he blocked a strike aimed at his shoulder, pushed Kuretsuchi back with his impressive strength, and beckoned the woman to come forward once more. That is the purpose of Jinchuriki. So what if they are hated by their people? It's part of the job description, said Kuretsuchi, as she clashed with Naruto again, and found herself quickly disarmed with her sword in his other hand. And in scissor formation ready to take the woman's head clean off. A part of the job description none of us had a say in when we were chosen. We were thrust into it and basically forced to accept our roles without so much as an explanation for the reason behind it. We were told to simply suck it up, and leave at that. Fitting how the people telling us that are so quick to unleash pain upon us, yet cry out to make it stop when unleashed upon them, and begging for mercy, said Naruto while glaring at the woman, who now had fear in her eyes, and could have sworn the spirit of the Yondaime Hokage was right beside his son with those same cold blue eyes. You really are his son, said Kuretsuchi before Naruto was flanked by two Dai Li agents and they bound her hands. I haven't been recognized as the Yondaime's son until recently. I may be his son, but I am not my father, and the next time Iwa comes at my empire, I'll burn the village to ground into ashes around me, said Naruto before removing the swords from her neck and then motioned the Dai Li to take the Tsuchikage away to the survivor camp site being set up. Not that there were many survivors left. You're letting her live, my emperor, said Ozai, knowing there were few Iwa shinobi left that were either badly injured or dying from their injuries. I'm not entirely heartless, Ozai. My people wish me to be fair yet firm. Sending what's left of this once massive army back along with its leader to their village in defeat is more than a fitting enough punishment. Send a messenger hawk to the New Earth daimyo and explain to him the situation regarding his shinobi village provoking my empire for an old grudge against me for what my father did. Tell him if he doesn't want his country turned into a wasteland, he'll call off all transgressions and attacks on the other regions around him, said Naruto, as he knew this slaughter would get the feudal lord's attention, and the man would wish to head for the negotiation table to work things out. To do otherwise would be foolish. At once, my emperor, said Ozai, leaving the emperor's side with General Iroh taking his place. It won't end here, I'm afraid, said General Iroh, as he saw Naruto nod his head, and there was a sense of depression in the Namikaze. You're right, Iroh. It won't end here. Soon word will reach the Akatsuki of my existence. They will come at us with everything they got to get the Biju in the Empire, and then there is Kumo too, since they will want to fight us in their own way for taking Niyugito from them. Orochimaru is marching toward Konoha, and those within it worthy of mercy are going to be killed while receiving none. Is it so wrong for me to want peace, General Iroh? Said Naruto in a semi-tired voice, as he had nearly drowned what was left of his soul in the violence of the wars in the West, scars running deep on so many levels, and now this soon-to-be new one on the horizon threatened to finish the job. Peace is sadly forged only through time of war, my friend. We both know that from our past experiences when the Empire had yet to be created. You must ask yourself if the risk of your life along with all the lives of those that fight with you are worth the peace, said Iroh, having been a key insightful figure in the Emperor's young life. I can't make that choice alone. I will ask the people if they will follow me in this. If they say no, then I will not commit to war, and only if they say yes will we fight, said Naruto, seeing Iroh nod his head, knowing that was the correct course of action. The people were the Emperor's strength, and he would need their strength now. My Emperor, we have guests under a white flag, who wish to see you, and claim it as urgent, said a Dai Li agent kneeling to the side. Who are they? Said Naruto, turning to face the Dai Li agent. One is Special Junin Mitarashi Anko of the Leaf, who was with the escort of Jiraiya of the Sannin when they came to visit you from before, and the second is Senju Tsunade's first student Shizune, said the Dai Li agent while sensing a few emotions bubbling around his emperor. Just the two of them? Said Naruto curiously, with the Dai Li agent nodding. Yes. They claim to come here on their own without the sanction of the Hokage, said the Dai Li agent, and sensed the emperor was more curious than before. Bring them over, but keep an eye on them, and if their motives aren't pure, detain them for further questioning, said Naruto, seeing the Dai Li agent nodding and then rising quickly to bring them over. Hello, Naruto, said Shizune, humbly bowing while Anko did too. Shizune. Anko. I'm curious to know why you are here, said Naruto, looking at the two for any deception on their part. We came here because, said Shizune, as she was afraid to speak, and Anko saw it was up to her. We wanted to join your empire and seek sanctuary there, since the Hokage will most likely order our deaths, said Anko, seeing Naruto looking between them for any hint of deception. Why would she do that? Said Naruto, seeing Shizune get nervous. Because Shizune was the Fire Daimyo's anonymous source in regards to what happened between you and the Uchiha years ago. A few months after you got shafted by the Leaf Village, he was getting hassled by Konoha's former allies, and Shizune dropped medical reports along with a letter stating what happened, said Anko while Shizune nodded. And you? Said Naruto to Anko. I want a new life. Just because the curse seal on me is gone doesn't mean those assholes in the Leaf are going to let things go, said Anko, seeing Naruto nod in understanding. True. Given how things are right now, I don't see why you two couldn't join, but you're going to go through a battery of tests, and only after your intentions are proven to be pure will you both be allowed to become a citizen of the Empire, said Naruto, seeing the two nod before a pair of Dai Li agents escorted them to their means to get on the other side into the Empire. Something on your mind, my emperor? Said General Iroh, seeing Naruto's eyes showing his mind once again working overtime. Just wondering how Tsunade is going to take this and just how far lost her mind already is. Said Naruto, already questioning Tsunade's mental state, and figured when she learned of Shizune's defection would make it worse. In Konoha. Damn them! Yelled Tsunade from her hospital bed, as an Anbu reported Shizune and Anko missing from the Leaf before finding a letter from the former of the two. We sent a tracker team to hunt them down and then bring back for questioning. We lost their scent after it left the village, heading west towards the Empire, said the Anbu, with Tsunade looking ready to kill someone. When I get out of this hospital, I'm going to make sure those two bitches are punished personally by me, and reminded of who their loyalties belong to, said Tsunade, as she was not going to let this scorn from Naruto, Kyuubi, Anko, or Shizune go without some proper measure of revenge. There is also the matter of several of our scouts reporting in of them detecting a shinobi army led by Orochimaru is headed our way, said the Anbu while mentally questioning the sanity of his leader. And everyone capable of defending the leaf is either injured or dead. Damn that brat. How long until Orochimaru's forces get here? Said Tsunade, needing some kind of ETA on the Sanin's arrival. 3 days time Heim. A mean storm blew in their area and pinned them down for a short while, said Jiraiya on the window while Tsunade looked furious at him. Why? Why did you allow Naruto to get away with what he did to me? Said Tsunade, as she felt betrayed by Jiraiya, and saw the Sanin shrug. You really expect me to fight against the Kyuubi in my already injured condition? Heim, if the Kyuubi didn't take what belonged to Naruto, the Fire Daimyo would have found out about it, and come here to do it for me, with an army to back him up. I did the only thing that would save Konoha from being burned to the ground, said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade scowl at him. He's not deserving of his heritage, Jiraiya, said Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya frown at her. On what grounds? Said Jiraiya, wanting to hear her reasoning behind that. Does it matter? Said Tsunade, with Jiraiya frowning. I think it does. If you have reason to deny him, then stop stalling, and spit it out. Said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade look away. Kushina had complications in terms of getting pregnant. Very rare problem, as her eggs seemed to be unstable, and it was considered a side effect from holding Kyuubi. My own grandmother's journal stated as much when she held the beast, and a procedure was done that only few knew about, with even fewer even capable of doing, said Tsunade, as she saw Jiraiya frown further in confusion, and wondered why this was grounds to deny the Gaki what was his inheritance. What was the procedure? Said Jiraiya curiously. The procedure involved an egg from a senju being surgically dissected in half for a span of only a few seconds using the eyes and hands of the best surgically skills in the world performing it. Half of the senju egg would then be put together with the other half of the Uzumaki egg, which was the more stable half, and then use the sperm from the donor in question to create the necessary life-giving process that is started through pregnancy, said Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya frown at her further. So a senju egg was used on Kushina in order to help get her pregnant. I guess that makes sense, but who was the donor? Oh, Kami, said Jiraiya, as his eyes widened in shock, with Tsunade nodding in admittance. It was one of my eggs. As the last senju of my family after Nawaki died, I had several eggs frozen away in storage, so in the event death claimed me, a woman could have my egg implanted within them, and give birth to a senju. Of course this was all top secret at the time, the most trusted of Anbu knew, and only the Hokage could sign off on such a thing, done just like only a Hokage could sign off on mixing the halves of 2 eggs into one for someone to get pregnant, said Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya nod in understanding. Sensei gave the go-ahead to let you freeze your eggs away, and Minato authorized the procedure for Kushina in order for her to conceive using one of your eggs. But how does that disqualify Naruto? I mean, the only medic skilled to do the one procedure to ensure the whole thing would work is, well, you. Said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade nod. At the time, I was all for it, and agreed to everything when brought to my attention by Minato. But after a while, seeing how Kushina was happy with that damn swollen belly holding a life inside of her, I became bitter, and jealous of the fact she was holding a child that was mine by some paternal right. However, I knew that even with half my egg being used to make it happen, Kushina had all the paternal rights of a mother, since she would bring the child into the world, and so I was forced to watch from the sidelines. As my bitterness grew, so did my anger at Kushina, and I came to the realization that what would soon be born is an unnatural child, said Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya looking at her with shock, then an intense anger she had never seen him look at her with, and before she knew it he had punched the woman right in the jaw. That's it. That's the reason. Has all the sake you've drank over the years destroyed your brain that much? Yelled Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade rub her jaw and using what chakra she had to heal the injury. A child like that cannot have his father's inheritance. With Kushina dead, I am in a way his mother now, and as such I had long since informed Sensei to forbid him from ever having it, said Tsunade, only to have Jiraiya's hand wrapped around her throat, with his eyes showing even more of the rage he had in them seconds ago. I can't believe you. You actually did that to him. Your own son on a technicality, and you throw him away to the wolves. You used to go on and on about how you wanted to be a mother when we were growing up, when Dan was alive. How you two are going to get married, have kids together, and live the ideal family life. Now here Naruto is, the newly born child, turned into the Kyuubi Jinchuriki by his own father with his mother dying in the process, and you leave him to suffer a village's hate-filled wrath when you knew the boy could have been considered your son. You could have raised him, loved him, taught him, protected him from danger. Instead, you betray him just like I did, only on a far worse level that's lower than even an Uchiha, and all because you considered him in your bitter lonesome to be unnatural. Said Jiraiya, as he let go of Tsunade's throat at the halfway marker of his ranting, and let the woman breathe again. He is unnatural. A child should not be conceived that way, even to ensure a backup plan for a new Jinchuriki being born, and replace the old, said Tsunade while Jiraiya grit his teeth knowing that was one of the reasons Kushina became pregnant since her family was wiped out and a new child of Uzumaki blood was needed. Only in your mind Tsunade. That kid has the best of both worlds. Hell, I'm surprised he hasn't used your clan's abilities yet, and made a forest rise up from the ground. Maybe he has and we just don't know it yet. But I have a feeling we'll never know because Naruto is gone. He's not coming back Tsunade and it all your fault. Said Jiraiya before storming out of the room and slamming the door shut. It was the first time in a long while since he had ever used the door over the window and hated himself for it. Imperial Palace, the speech balcony. It's time, my emperor, said Liu Bei, as he saw the man nod, and looked to his wife. I'm sorry we keep postponing our wedding. I'm a horrible person, said Naruto to Hinata with the Hyuga shaking her head no in disagreement. No, you're not. You're a wonderful person, who cares about others, and has to weigh the choices in front of him that few can make. It's the price one must pay for being the emperor of an empire, said Hinata, as she hugged him, and felt his lips when he kissed her hair. No matter what I do, I'll never be worthy of your love, and yet here you are being patient with me, said Naruto with a smile on his face while Hinata smiled back. You were always worthy. It just took us longer to come together due to outside forces that tried to keep us separate for so long, and nearly succeeded had you not changed my life when it counted most, said Hinata, as she felt him hug her tighter, and returned it. Even now, outside forces threaten to keep us apart, and the only reason I was able to change your life is because of you changing my outlook in life. Without your confession, I would have felt like there was no one out there for me, and just died alone without my other half. You, said Naruto with Hinata smiling more. My emperor. The speech, said Liu Bei while the rest of his sworn brothers and several other generals were waiting. I'll make this up to you. I promise. When this is over, we're getting married, and having the best honeymoon ever. Said Naruto with Hinata smiling and kissing his cheek. I'll hold you to that, my emperor. After all, you don't break promises, said Hinata into his ear and could feel his blood burning for her now. Yeah, least of all you, my empress, said Naruto, as he squeezed her rear, and loved the eep she let out in the process. Pervert, said Hinata glaring at him though it was a playful one. That's Emperor Pervert to you, my Heim, said Naruto before walking to the balcony where his people awaited him for the speech that in dark part of his mind he didn't want to give. He just hoped the people of the empire would support him in this. Omake Lee's painful recovery. Rock Lee was with his former sensei. Both were down in the dumps because Tsunade could not heal him this time. Tifa Lockhart broke his body and forever crushed his dream in being Guy's successor in being the greatest taijutsu master of all time. A well-befitting punishment when you realize who Tifa served and who was also the very same person Lee had betrayed years ago. I'm sorry I can't live up to your expectations anymore, Guy-sensei, said Lee sadly with his teacher in taijutsu looking just as sad. Don't worry, Lee. We will overcome this and show the village your power of youth, said Guy, as he went from sad to his usual self, and his teeth just as sparkly when he smiled. Yes, I will strive to be strong again and show the Western Elemental Empire that I can still be the best through hard work, said Lee with that same determination. Lee, shouted Guy giving his student a bear hug. Gai sen ah, yelled Lee, as his spine was being crushed by Guy's hug, and the man not letting up. Lee, yelled Guy hugging Lee harder. Guy-sensei, stop, yelled Lee, as he felt his spine being crushed further, and the pain exploding. No, I won't. I will hug you until your youth is fully restored, yelled Guy, as he kept squeezing, and hugging Lee while the poor crippled shinobi only screamed out louder in pain. Should we tell Guy to stop crushing Lee's already broken spine further? Said Tenten to Neji while they waited outside the room so two weirdos could have their special time together. Would you? Said Neji with the sounds of Lee screaming louder and pleading for Guy to stop. Good point, said Tenten while wincing when she heard Lee's scream nearly reach the level of shrieking. Karma was a bitch. Naruto looked at the people below, as hundreds if not 1,000 people, his citizens, his people stood below him, and looked up to see his face. He sighed inside his mind, trying to clear it at the same time, and tried to focus on what must be done. My people, sons and daughter of the Western Elemental Empire, I stand before you today to sadly bring grave news of a looming darkness threatening our borders in the east. Even now, we have successfully repelled the East's first invasion force aimed at disrupting our recently achieved peace. However, this one attack does not mean we can simply remain stagnant and believe we are untouchable. No, we have to remain the ever vigilant, the forever strong empire, for it is the price we pay for our continued peace and stability here despite the chaos elsewhere around us. The problem presented before me is the war of the East now threatening to approach our walls and very doorstep if we are not careful. Even now, an organization in the East with S-class missing nin known as the Akatsuki are planning to move against our empire to take what they no doubt believe is theirs to take, and cause further unnecessary violence. I have also learned that the snake Sanin Orochimaru plans to destroy Konoha along with all its people, whether they are the guilty, who had a hand in my suffering, or were innocent through the whole ordeal. I do not wish to get involved with the East, nor do I wish to drag you, my citizens of this great empire, into their affairs, and bring unto you another mindless war. So I look to you, the people of this empire, to make that decision here for me, and speak your minds freely of what you wish to do regarding this situation. So now as I, your emperor of the Western Elemental Empire, ask you what it is you want, and if you wish to fight this evil that if left unchecked could one day threaten even us. What say you? Said Naruto, seeing the people below him murmuring to each other, asking for another's opinion, and sharing their own. I have mixed feelings about this, said Hinata to Kyuubi, who just smiled gently at her, and put a comforting hand on his shoulder. I know. We don't have to save the guilty though. But the innocent people shouldn't have to pay for the sins of the guilty and the arrogant. It would be like when the leaf punished Naruto for having me sealed in his body. I was guilty for what I did, regardless of being manipulated by Uchiha Madara, but they had no right to take it out on Naruto, and hate him for my mistakes, said Kyuubi, seeing Hinata smile at him and nod. What say you, my people? Will you help me purge this evil with one more war? One more to purify the entire continent of conflict, if only for a time, and let us as a whole catch our breath to grow. If you do say no, I will understand it is your wish, and will respect your decision. But if you say yes, I promise on my title as your emperor, the war will be swift, and be brought to an end shortly after starting. Tell me your decision now, said Naruto, seeing the people a bit unsure, but deep within their hearts and minds they knew he spoke the truth about the East possibly becoming as violent as they had been. The entire continent needed to have balance. Fight. I say we fight, called out one person, followed by another, and another, until all of them were shouting out that single crucial word. Fight. Very well. I will begin preparations for what must be done myself. We will purge this evil from the lands, bring justice to the East, and show them what it means to have the same stability we do here in the Empire. As your emperor, I promise to do everything in my power to protect you, and all those that fight for me to the very end. Said Naruto, hearing the crowd cheer him on more and more with the banners of the Empire being waved around proudly all over. It had begun, said Liu Bei, seeing his sword brothers nod. I must go to prepare an effective strategy with the information on the Akatsuki at my disposal in order to assign proper agents to deal with them. If you will all excuse me, said Zhuge Liang, bowing to Liu Bei, his sworn brothers, Kyuubi, Hinata, and Naruto before taking his leave of the room. Are our own airships ready, General Ozai? Said Naruto, seeing the general of the fire division troops nod. Yes, my emperor, said General Ozai while sensing Naruto smiling. Good. Take them high with your troops into the air. Into the clouds themselves to the east. Flank Orochimaru's forces heading to Leaf. Incinerate them all. Turn every last shinobi under that man's command into ash. said Naruto, seeing General Ozai nod in understanding. And Orochimaru himself, said Ozai, sensing the cruelty in Naruto's eyes at the plans he had for the Sannin. If he escapes, then let him, as I'm having the Lin Kuei clan handle him, and his right hand should Kabuto survive, said Naruto, seeing Ozai nod. As you command, my emperor, said Ozai, with the Liu Bei and his sworn brothers now approaching. My troops are also ready to move out at your command, my emperor, said Liu Bei, with Naruto nodding. Yes. Inform the General Iroh and his Daily so they can manipulate a large enough hole in the wall for your forces to leave in. You will travel to Wind Country, as they are our allies, and speak to the Wind Daimyo himself while showing him this imperial seal to show you are there under my orders. You will inform him of what is happening while I send a messenger hawk to the Cage to inform Gaara of my forces mobilizing with the request of his shinobi assisting you in showing the fastest path out of Wind Country to Rice Country. Once you've taken it, set up fortifications, and await for supplies along with my shinobi to help provide additional support. Once you stabilize the region, launch an attack on Lightning Country, and only do that when defensive troops are in position in Rice to take your place. Kyuubi, you along myself will go with Liu Bei to Lightning Country once we arrive with the defense forces after Rice Country is taken, and handle Kumo's remaining Jinchuriki of Arakage while Raya Hayabusa with members of the Dragon Clan provide support in fighting the Rakage's shinobi, said Naruto, seeing the Kyuubi nod. What about Konoha? I highly doubt Tsunade will let her scorning by Kyuubi's hands go unpunished, said Hinata, as she saw Naruto nod, knowing he would have to deal with her when the time came, and didn't want the man she loved to be harmed by the Senju. After Anko and Shizune defected to my side a few days ago, I expect her to lash out with everything she has, with no one really being able to stop it. When Kyuubi was in Konoha, he successfully killed the councils, which gave much of their power they took from the position back to Tsunade, and she can now do just about anything she wants without the bureaucratic red tape. I handle her when the time comes, said Naruto, seeing Hinata nod in understanding. When that happens, I wish to stand beside you, said Hinata, seeing Naruto smile. Of course, my Haim, said Naruto, giving her a passionate kiss on the lips. I can't wait until we're married and have a couple of kids running around, said Hinata when they broke the kiss. Yeah, pranking the servants, making the shinobi, and samurai chase them around, said Naruto while Hinata giggled at the picture in her head. Good times, said Hinata before giggling more, and Naruto himself laughed too. Yeah, good times, said Naruto, remembering his own pranks on people. They never get old. With Orochimaru days later. We're nearing Konoha's walls, Orochimaru-sama. ETA is 10 to 15 minutes, said one of the Sannin's lowly subordinate. That's very good news. Soon Konoha will burn to the ground and all its people crushed under my feet. Shame Jiraiya and Tsunade aren't feeling up to fighting me from what I've heard after the Kyuubi showed up to discipline them, said Orochimaru, as word easily reached him of Kyuubi's brief return, and measure of revenge against the powers that be there on behalf of its former vessel. It's a good thing Naruto hates Konoha so much. Otherwise, I suspect he would come after us, and exact his revenge against you for killing the Sandaime, said Kabuto while the Sannin just smirked at him. Yes, Konoha dug its own grave by banishing Naruto. I consider myself his loyal servant in burying them all in the very hole they made for themselves to remove them from this world, said Orochimaru with a cruel laugh to match his smirk. However, it soon left him when screams from his shinobi were heard, and the sight of fire coming at them from the sky was seen from high above. Airships with the imperial symbol on them were launching wave after wave of fireballs and streams of fire down on the Sannin's forces. It didn't make sense in the man's mind, as the empire hated the leaf, and so did the emperor if the rumors were true of the condition of each leaf shinobi being horribly tortured. So why was the emperor doing this to him and not Konoha? Orochimaru-sama, we must escape from here before the attacks reach us, and wipe out the rest of the army, said Kabuto, with the Sannin gritting his teeth while hating to admit it was true. This is not over. When I gather a strong enough army, we will attack the empire, and burn it to the ground, said Orochimaru, as he along with Kabuto ran away from the massive attack from above, and left the army of sound shinobi to die a fiery death. The two came to the Valley of the End, knowing that it was the best way to get to Rice Country, and begin anew from one of his many hidden bases. However, no sooner had they taken a step toward the ravine did they sense something was wrong, and the air was noticeably colder. As if death itself was in the air. We are not alone, said Kabuto while tensing when the air got colder. Much colder. The icy hand of death comes for you and Orochimaru of the Sannin, said a voice from behind the two and emerged from the forest. I am a god. Death has no right to come after me, said Orochimaru, who saw this blue armored figure coming out with shinobi also wearing blue armor, yet the designs were different, and all held the symbol of some clan he did not recognize. Who are you? Said Kabuto while getting ready for a fight. I am Sub-Zero, the Grand Master of the Lin Kuei clan and Master Ice Shinobi of the Western Elemental Empire. Loyal servant of the Emperor himself. We are here for your head, said Sub-Zero while Orochimaru snarled at him. So the Uzumaki brat wants me gone too, does he? I guess he's still upset I killed the Sandaime Hokage all those years ago. Such a troublesome boy that one. I'll be sure to make my displeasure of his actions here known by sending him back your heads. Said Orochimaru, as he along with Kabuto got ready to fight, and so did their foes. We'll see false god, said Sub-Zero, as he along with his shinobi rushed them, and were told of Orochimaru's treachery while the orders given were clear as ice crystals. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy to either shinobi. Just kill them. Period. Konoha at the moment. Hokage-sama. There are Imperial airships from the west launching fire into the forest region from the north, said an Anbu captain running into the Hokage's office. Prepare defenses. See if you can launch some kind of attack upwards at the airships. If only we had our animal summons, said Tsunade knowing the slugs refused to help her anymore for what she did in helping Naruto become banished from the leaf. Don't, said Jiraiya simply while wincing when he came through the window. His body still wasn't sitting well. And why shouldn't I? Said Tsunade while glaring at her former teammate. Because they're not attacking Konoha like you think, Tsunade. They're attacking army Orochimaru Tem planned to use against us, said Jiraiya while Tsunade frowned at him. Fine. Don't attack just yet. Find a way to so in the event they decide to change direction and then attack them or unless I give the order, said Tsunade seeing the Anbu captain nod. You'd attack them after they save the village. Said Jiraiya seeing Tsunade narrow her eyes at him. They are enemies of this village, Jiraiya. Who do you think they'll turn on once the one they are fighting is wiped out? Said Tsunade while Jiraiya shook his head. I doubt it. If Naruto wanted us gone, he'd have had Kyuubi do it when he was here, and not now when we're about to be invaded with no means to repel the attack, said Jiraiya with Tsunade growling at him. It's called me covering R. Now get out, said Tsunade before pointing to the door while Jiraiya scoffed and went out the window. Naruto is doing us a big favor and she still wants to beat his brains in for something that she helped make possible. All out of spite too. I must be insane to still like her, thought Jiraiya, as he went to a nearby rooftop, and saw airships that were nothing like the ones in Spring Country bring down a slow burning death upon Orochimaru's forces. Whatever you're planning, Naruto, one way or another, I will see you fall, and correct the mistake I made years ago, thought Tsunade, as she would strike when the brat was least expecting, and see to it that things became centered her own personal world. Rice Country. Naruto walked around the area as forces had begun setting up camp, as the shinobi with the army found several sound bases throughout the land, and had been removing them from while advancing to the main one Orochimaru had been using. A message to the Rice daimyo explained that Orochimaru was dead, his shinobi wiped out, and told the feudal lord that his lands now temporarily belonged to the empire until further notice. The Rice daimyo had no choice but to accept this, as he had no army that could match the forces of the empire, and humbly submitted to the emperor's rule. While that was happening, Liu Bei's forces were fortifying the area, which was one of many throughout the land, and preparing them for the defensive line that would be coming in with additional shinobi. Gaara had been generous enough to send some of his most trusted Anbu and Temari with them to see to it that Naruto's forces were well protected during their arrival into Rice Country. Naruto thanked Temari and even provides some financial compensation to be given to Gaara for sending his shinobi to assist in this matter. Liu Bei, how are things progressing? Said Naruto, as he saw Liu Bei, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Zhao Yun looking over a map of the area. We've set up fortifications at every key juncture within the lands, my emperor. The more narrow areas are being covered by hidden watchtowers with expert archers at the ready, said Liu Bei with Naruto seeing the map himself and knowing where they were. It would take at least a week to make it to Lightning Country, and then to Kumo where the shinobi there would be waiting for them. Of course, if someone were to sabotage the village's means of perception of the outside world, and blind them from the truth. Hattori Hanzo, said Naruto, calling forth his most shadowy, yet loyal rogue shinobi not tied to any village, who had helped him out on several occasions in fighting battles in the West, and had gone on discreet covert missions for him during peace to ensure no threat by would-be warlords tried to destroy the empire from within. Hanzo would kill them all in Naruto's name, though no one ever really knew it was Hanzo, much less his reason for doing it, but no one ever really complained about such things when they happened, since each so-called warlord that rose up and Hanzo cut down were all oppressive people, trying to hurt the lower class into working for them while bribing the upper class to look the other way, and keep things away from the emperor's eyes. It was foolish to try, since the lower class were the ones who the emperor always made sure had a voice through his agents, and they were practically everywhere within the deep recesses of the empire to inform him of such things. Like Hanzo. Yes, my emperor, said Hanzo in a smooth yet deathly cold voice, as he came out of the shadows, and kneeled before the blonde ruler of the Western Elemental Empire. Go ahead, Takumo. Disable any means of communication they have with the outside world and kill anyone that stands in your way, with the exception of their Jinchuriki for a raikage. I don't want them to be so disoriented from your strikes that they don't know the difference between night and day, said Naruto, seeing Hanzo bow his head. As you command, my emperor. When shadows strike, only death awaits, said Hanzo, as he moved with the shadows to Lightning Country, and Takumo, where his assignment was located. My emperor, the Lin Kuei are approaching, and request an audience with you, said a soldier coming towards him. Let them, said Naruto, knowing if it was just two that survived, then something was off, and the Sannin was tougher than he thought. Fortunately, that was not the case this time, as all 5 of the Lin Kuei assassins, with Sub-Zero leading the group, and in his hands was the frozen yet not too frozen heads of the 2 assigned targets before kneeling. My emperor, we have accomplished our mission per your orders and brought the heads of the targets to show proof of our success, said Sub-Zero before raising his hands up higher to offer each head to the emperor. Thank you for the offerings, Sub-Zero. When I chose to support your clan's war with the Red and Black Dragon clans, I knew it was the right move to make, said Naruto, as he had seen the ruthless triangle-shaped tug-of-war power struggle between the 3 clans, and the Lin Kuei's opponents were starting to show signs of teaming up to disrupt the balance of it all together. Neither the Red nor Black Dragon clans had shown promise in Naruto's desire to take sides, but the Lin Kuei did, with Sub-Zero standing out among them, and several others before the one-day Emperor of the Empire approached the clan. After removing the rival clans from the Lin Kuei's path, these warriors pledged their undying loyalty to the warlord turned emperor, and have never failed him yet. It is our honor to serve you, my emperor, said Sub-Zero, as Naruto took the 2 frozen heads from the man's hands, and then threw them into the air before slicing through them with his sword. And it is my honor to have you serve me with such loyalty. I need you along with your current members to go to Mist Village next, as my envoys to the Mizukage there, and inform her privately what is going on with Kumo. Mist nor Water Country has the means to oppose us, so I don't expect them to jump into the fight. If she shows hesitation when asked to stay out of this, inform the Mizukage a substantial amount of money will be her villages provided she stays out of this until the end, and only at the end, said Naruto, as he knew Mist was still having money problems thanks to Madara. Personal influence of the previous Mizukage had allowed the Uchiha to bleed a good sum of money from the village nearly dry to the point where they could barely make do with what they had after the rebels won. The spoils of their war weren't even considered great among the poorest of the people there. Yes, my emperor, said Sub-Zero, as he left quickly to Mist, and carry out his ruler's orders. My emperor, this foe by the name of Killer Bee, and the raikage of Kumo, how will you convince him to come back to the empire with his demon, said Liu Bei while the emperor just smirked at him. Who says I'm taking Killer Bee back to the empire? I'm not, said Naruto simply while his generals looked confused. Surely you and Kyuubi won't kill him. I don't mean to speak out of turn, sir, but that is the only option I see, and I am bound by my honor to speak my mind on this, said Zhao Yun while Naruto just chuckled. I understand your position, Zhao Yun, and don't need to worry about punishment for saying what you just did. I would in your place. Kyuubi and I are going to knock the new raikage down before using our knowledge of seals to remove the 8 tails from him without it killing Killer Bee, said Naruto, seeing them nod. A much better option, to be sure. However, There is a possibility of the Eight Tails taking some kind of offense to this if he enjoys being with his container, and wishes to fight your forces after the extraction, said Guan Yu with Naruto nodding since that was always a possibility since his spy network had confirmed that much about the man. If that happens, the Eight Tails will be dealt with, and only if that happens, said Naruto calmly, but his voice was hardened to the point where it made the air tense, and his loyal generals nodded in understanding. Kumo a week days later. Raikage-sama, the new shift in the Northern Communications Tower has just come in, and have found those from the previous one dead on the floor with the equipment there destroyed, said Kumo Anbu. Damn. This job is not a slam. We need to work to get around this quirk and finding the one blinding all our senses with none, said Killer Bee seeing his Anbu sweat drop at his constant rapping. We're also checking the other towers to see if they are also in the same condition. If not, we need to use it to recall some of our forces to reinforce the village, and what's going on in the outside world, said the Kumo Anbu while Killer Bee just nodded in agreement. Check them. Doesn't matter if the equipment is big or small. We need to see and hear what's going on while stopping what's making everything go wrong, said Killer Bee while the Anbu nodded once and vanished. It could be the Akatsuki again. Be on guard. Something is coming. Something very powerful. We may not be able to handle or survive it, said the Eight Tails while sensing something was indeed coming for them, but couldn't sense what it was, and yet knew it was very powerful. A powerful explosion was heard from the walls of Kumo, which indicated the village was under attack, and naturally its shinobi would rise to fight off the enemy. However, what made Killer Bee stop himself from leaping out of the window of his office in the Raikage Tower, was the sight of the Kyuubi himself in his fox laying waste to the people around him. On his head was the Emperor himself, his sword in hand, and pointing the tip of the blade at the Raikage Tower. At Killer Bee, behind the two, was an army of shinobi going left or right of Kyuubi currently engaging Kumo shinobi while the fox himself went into his human form before he went with the Emperor towards the Raikage Tower. Killer Bee now understood what his demon meant when it sensed something powerful and leapt out the window to the ground below in order to meet his foes now standing before him. You must be Killer Bee, I presume, said Naruto seeing Killer Bee draw his swords, as he spoke those words, and his students appearing in front of him doing the same. You presume correct, son of the Yondaime. You're still going to lose to us before you even go up against Killer Bee Sensei, said the woman with red hair. We won't let you kill Killer Bee Sensei, said the blonde female with the impressive bust that rivaled Tsunade. Kill him. We don't want to kill him, said Naruto after letting out a laugh, which only upset the trio in front of Killer Bee, and confusion from the Raikage himself. Then what are you here for? Said the male Kumo shinobi with a lollipop in his mouth. To remove the 8 tails from him, said Kyuubi, which put the Kumo shinobi, and Killer Bee once more on guard. That will kill him, said the red-haired Kunoichi. Not if I do it. I'm a seal master after all and I did set my own demon free, said Naruto seeing Killer Bee and his subordinates tense at realizing this red-haired figure was in fact Kyuubi in a human form. Why would you do that? Said Killer Bee while surprising his students by not rapping. To balance things out. The East needs to be humbled. I've been secretly doing it for years so the wars here stop long enough for everyone to catch their breath. Killer Bee, your brother sided with Orochimaru for a chance to obtain the Byakugan eyes, and had to be removed, said Naruto seeing Killer Bee's eyes widen behind his shade before they narrowed in anger. You killed my brother, said Killer Bee with the 8 tails chakra forming around him. Me personally. No. I did send the assassin after him though. Your brother was agent of war, a pointless one, and allied with Orochimaru. He had to be put down. His pride and the bloodlust that I have been told filled his eyes would not let him stop so I had to make him stop, said Naruto seeing Killer Bee getting angrier and motioned for Kyuubi to take over in facing the angered Jinchuriki. He would have stopped, said Killer Bee, as he was sprouting chakra tails, but Kyuubi launched his own at the man, and kept the 8 tails at bay with his power. Do not be a blind fool because he was your brother. Bloodlust has always filled his heart and Orochimaru brought it out to the zenith with the belief that the eyes of the Byakugan should be in his village. He'd have sacrificed everything to Orochimaru just to see that happen. Even you, said Naruto before he was surrounded by Killer Bee's students. You're still going to pay for killing Killer Bee Sensei's brother, said the shinobi with the sucker in his mouth. Call them off, B. I don't want to hurt your students, but I won't hesitate to maim them all for life, and even take their lives if necessary, said Naruto while seeing Killer Bee still struggling against Kyuubi, but stopped when he looked into the Emperor's eyes, and saw the man was telling the truth. You just want to remove the 8 tails from me. That's it, said Killer Bee while seeing his students look at him in surprise. Yes. You won't die from it. I promise you that much. Once the 8 tails is successfully extracted, the demon lord ruling of the western lands of my empire has agreed to take all the Biju into his domain, said Naruto seeing Killer Bee look at him with surprise. Ask him if you can visit, said the 8 tails inside Bee's head. Can I visit him? What about Niyugito and the Nibi? Said Killer Bee since he had long since wondered about her. Yugito and Nibi have been in the western part of my empire for some time. All the Biju with the exception of the Shukaku since the raccoon's insanity is too far gone to reverse are now living there. Order the surrender of the village and I promise on the souls of the people living in my empire that no more of your people will be harmed while working with us, said Naruto seeing Killer Bee close his eyes behind the shades that hid them and knew he was talking to his demon. Samui, Karui, Omoi, stand down, said Killer Bee seeing his students look at him in shock. But sensei said Karui, but the sharp glare through the Jinchuriki's shade-covered eyes silenced her, and the others too. This is Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto you are facing Karui. He is also the emperor of the Western Elemental Empire. Brother was afraid of him before knowing that. This man has been in more ruthless battles on a level we cannot begin to touch. You cannot defeat him. Even if by some chance you did, the Kyuubi could kill you all with a flick of his tail, and then myself out of spite for it before doing Kami knows what to Hachibi. All 3 of you stand down. Now, said Killer Bee in an authoritative voice without rapping, which was unusual, and it made the 3 Kumo shinobi realize just how serious he really was when ordering them stopping their attack on Naruto. Alert the other Kumo shinobi and I'll alert mine to stand down, said Naruto to Samui, Karui, and Omoi while the 3 reluctantly nodded before taking off. Time to get started kit, said Kyuubi while Naruto now had a tick mark on his forehead before he made a shadow clone to give the order to his shinobi to stand down. Fine. Just don't call me Kit. Fuzzy, said Naruto with Kyuubi now sporting a tick mark of his own. Shut up and let's do this already, said Kyuubi, as he needed to keep Killer Bee pinned to the wall, and use his chakra to keep the Hachibi from getting any last-minute ideas. The process took well over an hour, as the seal on Killer Bee was designed with many different tamper-proof safety measures, and each of them designed to hurt the one doing the tampering. It was to be expected, as the previous Raikage had valued his brother to the degree that he didn't want anyone killing him for the demon inside, and thus made sure the safety measures were strong while not interfering in Killer Bee's development. Kumo had surrendered, but it was a reluctant one, and yet Naruto remained true to his word with Killer Bee not being killed during the extraction with Hachibi going into his human form to ensure the village wasn't destroyed further. After it happened, Kyuubi had a little talk with Hachibi about the Akatsuki, and how this was necessary to ensure that while things changed, it was for the better. Hachibi reluctantly agreed. He was tired of being stuffed away in human bodies and he didn't also like the fact one of his horns was damaged by Killer Bee's big brother. So I guess this goodbye for now, said Hachibi to Killer Bee before they bumped fists. Only for now. It's not like it has to end like balloon going, pow, said Killer Bee with Hachibi laughing slightly. You seriously need to give up rhyming Killer Bee. Maybe then, a girl will actually want to date you, and maybe even get laid, said Hachibi while Killer Bee just grumbled about not getting any respect from demon know-it-alls. Don't get your hopes up. Still, we do have music involving your way of talking, and we can set up a music studio for you to combine that. Probably make some money that way, said Kyuubi with Hachibi groaning along with Karui, Samui, and Omoi. Please don't encourage him Kyuubi-sama, said Karui, as she could not stand the man's rapping, and only did because Killer Bee was their Raikage sensei. Deal, said Killer Bee excitedly. We should have let the Emperor kill us, thought Omoi while sucking on the sucker in his mouth. There is something I want to address before leaving Kyuubi, said Hachibi to Kyuubi when the Imperial airship descended. What? Said Kyuubi curiously. It's likely the Akatsuki are going to be onto us now being in the west. Aren't you worried they'll try something? Said Hachibi with Kyuubi laughing at the idea now. I almost wish they would, my friend. Madara himself had feared the West when it was at its peak in violence, and now every single one in it has honed that into a united front, and should the Akatsuki try, well, let's just say that won't be happening anytime soon. One of Naruto's master strategists has already been working on a means to remove them from play as we speak. All that's left after this is Konoha being cleaned up, said Kyuubi while those around them looked confused. But, I thought you took care of Konoha earlier. Injured the Hokage, killed the councils, and revealed Emperor's heritage to the people, said Samui, seeing Kyuubi smirk at her. That was just to get our ducks in a row, my dear. All that's left is to, well, I don't think I need to explain it, do I? Said Kyuubi with a grin, seeing Samui shake her head no. Liquidation, said Omoi, seeing Kyuubi grin further. Got it. Only those worthy of Naruto's mercy are going to be spared death, and even those that should won't, since they are already suffering worse than that, so why change out the greater punishment for a lesser one? Said Kyuubi, seeing the Kumo shinobi looking over at Naruto, now currently deep in thought about something. He's not what I expected when it comes to an emperor, said Omoi to Samui, who nodded in agreement, and saw Kyuubi smirk since he heard that. He doesn't like to remain stagnant. Stagnant gets you killed. It makes you predictable. Naruto doesn't like being predictable, said Kyuubi before leaving with Hachibi on the Imperial airship. We're ready to leave, my emperor, said Raya Hayabusa, kneeling with his Dragon Clan members. Good. Inform my generals to fall back with the troops to Rice Country like we planned when this was over, before heading west back to the Empire. You all did very well. I'm proud and honored to have you fight for me, said Naruto, seeing the dragon ninja nod his head. Thank you, my emperor, said Ryu before he and the others left the area. See you later, Killer Bee. Rule over Kumo well, said Naruto before walking away from the wreckage and waved back at him in the process. I will. Count on it, said Killer Bee before Naruto vanished in flash of yellow and once again shocked those that saw it. He really is the Yondaime's son, said Samui before she realized that Killer Bee had just saved her and the others from being annihilated. She almost felt bad for Konoha. Almost. Akatsuki HQ. Iwa and Kumo have been forced into submission, said Zetsu before the projections of the other members of the Akatsuki. The source behind it, said Pain simply. The Western Elemental Empire, said Zetsu with his other half. It makes no sense. Why do this when they gain nothing in the process? Said Conan, as she saw Pain thinking about this too. Iwa attacked over a week ago and only the Tsuchikage along with a few of her troops survived. It was meant to set an example to her village and the Earth Country daimyo. Orochimaru was marching towards Konoha at the same time and were soon wiped out by the Empire's forces before sacking Rice Country. Kumo fell next with fewer casualties than the others, but they apparently took the Hachibi with them back to the Empire, said Zetsu, seeing Pain nod, since that would be the case, while the other members of the organization frowned at this news. How do we proceed? Said Itachi, knowing his eyes may be near useless, he was still a valuable member of the group. We could go to the Empire and take the Biju from them. It shouldn't be that hard after their years of peace, right? Said Kisame before hearing Itachi sigh while calling him an idiot. Just because they are at peace doesn't mean they've stopped getting stronger. Namikaze Naruto wants all his people to stay strong, has them train, spar, and fight each other in healthy competitions. Their weakest warrior could kill Orochimaru of the Sannin and Kabuto with enough energy to defeat half a village worth of Anbu captains, second only to a cage before becoming winded. They would wipe us out before we could even track down one of the Biju, and that is with the human forces of the Empire. There are some very powerful demons that live in the Western Elemental Empire and have the power to rival the Kyuubi. I doubt the Sharingan has any power over them, said Itachi, while that was meant to target Madara hiding in the shadows more than himself. Enough. We will target the one-tailed Jinchuriki in Suna again, since he is the only one left here in the east. Once we have that Biju secured, we will target the others, and use whatever means we can to bring them back here for what must be done, said Pain, seeing them nod in understanding. Before a cruel laugh echoed in the dark room. What the? Said Hidan, while the laughter got louder and louder with a sense of dread filling the dark room. What an unexpected turn of events my time with the Emperor has brought me since he discovered me deep beneath the Imperial Palace. I must have done something good in my other life to gain such favor from him in being given the honor of wiping you out, said the cruel dark voice, as he came out of the shadows, dressed in crimson and black with glasses shaded in orange lenses. Who the hell are you? Said Kisame, readying his sword, while the figure just grinned while his fledgling came out of the shadows with him, followed by several more individuals of inhumane power. Where are my manners? My name is Alucard. Next to me is my lovely student of all things dark, Sarah's Victoria. Behind her are Cloud, Strife, and Sephiroth. Behind me is the younger of the two Inu demon lord brothers by the name of Inuyasha. We have come here under the direct command of the Emperor himself, to kill the Akatsuki's so-called immortals, said Alucard with the Akatsuki members tensing. Pain, said Conan with the man nodding to go, but found herself unable to when a dark tendril wrapped around her entire body, and squeezed tightly. Running off to protect the man's real body. I don't think so. Choose who you want to fight, said Alucard with Sarah's grinning hungrily for blood, as her nature had come out, and it was hungry. I want Jashin Priest. Sarah's with her eyes glowing red and fangs growing. Bring it on, bitch, said Hidan with his scythe. The fish man is mine, said Cloud while revealing his sword, while Kisame himself just grinned. No problem there, said Kisame, as he unleashed Samahata, and looked hungry for a fight. I'll take the one concerned with money. I'll even use some of it to pay the boatman on the river Styx to send him across to the other side, said Inuyasha with his Tessaiga in hand and ready to unleash destruction on the multi-hearted missing nin. I have always wondered what it would be like to have a demon's heart in me. Now I'm going to find out when I rip yours from its body, said Kakuzu, as he saw the Inu demon before him smirk, and eyes burning with bloodlust. The one by the name of Pain is mine. Now who gets Uchiha Itachi and Madara? Said Sephiroth while Alucard just grinned further while the dark tendrils wrapped around Zetsu trying to escape. The Emperor, of course, said Alucard with Naruto now appearing from the shadows. You are too kind, Alucard, though I think given Itachi's weakened condition, Madara will be the only challenge between the two, and I would hate to send Konoha's most valuable spy back to Konoha in pieces, said Naruto while Itachi narrowed his eyes at him. What? Said Kisame looking at Itachi in shock. You heard me. Uchiha Itachi has been Jiraiya of the Sannin spy for the leaf regarding all your activities. Every move you've made, every scheme, and every plan was known to Konoha in advance by Itachi, said Naruto seeing Itachi stepping away from the group of S-class missing nin. Traitor, said Hidan while just chuckled. Don't be like that, Jashin Priest. Itachi was just doing his noble duty for Konoha. Just like my father did, and we all know how that turned out. I'm surprised you didn't leave sooner, Itachi. Your eyes must be so badly damaged by this point that all the people in this room are cloudy gray shapes. Am I right? Said Naruto seeing Itachi tense further. Yes, but even without my sight, I am still able to handle the others in a fight, and even you if it is a must, said Itachi drawing his sword while Naruto smirked. Let's test that theory, shall we? Said Naruto, as he moved swiftly with the others toward their targets while Alucard killed Zetsu, and held Conan in his grasp. You aren't going anywhere, my dear, said Alucard grinning at the woman in his grip while watching the fighting around him. Kisame was fighting Cloud Strife in swordsmanship, their swords clanging against the other, as they each tried to outdo the other, and yet it was clear Cloud had the edge. His sword became two, delivering twice the attacks on the swordsman from mist, and his speed being twice as fast. Kisame struggled to keep up, knowing that using water jutsus were out of the question since he needed hand signs to make them, and this guy wasn't going to let that happen for a second. Damn brat, said Kisame, as he tried to match Cloud's strength with his own, but found it impossible since somehow the blonde swordsman was faster, and stronger than him in terms of kenjutsu. This so-called brat is going to take your head off, said Cloud, as he caught Samahata in a scissors move, and cut the blade in half. Samahata screamed out in pain before dying while Cloud kept on attacking Kisame, and with a few well-placed sword moves took the man's head clean off. To Cloud's right, the form of Inuyasha unleashing the power of his demonic sword down on Kakuzu caught the blonde's line of sight, and the Akatsuki member being annihilated. Sarah's had moved with deadly speed, leaving behind a crimson line due to her speed produced from the pair of red wings she had on her back, and slammed Hidan into a wall before dragging him along it. His skin, flesh, and bone peeling away violently in the process while looking the mad Jashin Priest right in the eye. Sarah's smashed the man's body into paste, ripping apart flesh, shredding organs, and shattering the bones of her foe without mercy. Sephiroth had manifested his trusted sword Masamune to his hands and engaged the Sith paths to pain in battle, with each falling quickly soon after despite the Rinnegan's dojutsu-like power. Now it's down to you and me, Itachi. Don't worry, Madara will be next, I assure you, and then if I'm feeling merciful, you little brother, said Naruto while the loud scream from Konan was heard, as Alucard bit the woman on the neck after he asked her if she was a virgin, and answered yes. While that happened, Sarah's vanished into the shadows heading for the faint heartbeat her ears picked up until she came to the sight of the real Pain looking fearful, and tried to repel her with his powers. However, Sarah's was far stronger than he was, and instantly sank her teeth into his neck, draining the man dry of his life energy through the crimson liquid, the lost strength she herself had spent on this assignment. Sarah's found the real Pain, said Alucard with a grin while Konan was now his servant like Sarah's had been before embracing her new nature. Not far from him, Naruto had knocked down Itachi, having disarmed the Uchiha of his sword, and knowing that the man's Sharingan eyes no longer had the power to end them. Itachi struggled to get up, but found himself bound in chain made up of chakra, and was surprised the source of them was Naruto. My mother's bloodline, in case you're wondering. Sealed away by the Yondaime Hokage when the Kyuubi was being put in me. Not purposely, mind you, but my father was in a bit of a rush, and when I freed the fox from my body. So I did the same with this power. You have much to answer for. I think. Yes, I think you'll live. I want you to stand before the Fire Daimyo and explain to him everything you did regarding the massacre of nearly your entire clan for the real reason, said Naruto, seeing the Uchiha's eyes widen slightly, and before he could do anything to prevent that from happening. Itachi was knocked out by Inuyasha via a blow to the head. We'll take him back from here, my emperor, said Inuyasha, seeing Naruto nod and toss the Uchiha to Cloud. Cloud, take him out of here, and keep him knocked out until you get to Fire Country to tell the daimyo of your prize. Inuyasha, come with me for a moment. I need you and your demonic sword to destroy something, said Naruto, seeing the demon lord nod, and they went to a nearby chamber where the giant statue Geto Mazo where the three tails was sealed away. So this is the statue our spies heard rumors about, said Inuyasha, seeing Naruto nod and put a hand on the statue before feeling the three tails inside howling to be free. I sense fear, anger, and hope. The three tails senses me here. My intentions with the statue being destroyed and the fact its destruction will set it free. Grant the demon his wish, said Naruto, seeing Inuyasha smirk and ready his sword. Yes, sir. Wind Scar, said Inuyasha, as he unleashed his attack on the statue, effectively destroying it, and setting the three tails free. Of course, the demon would have to wait a few more years before it could reconstruct itself, but Naruto didn't see a problem with that, and would make sure the demonic turtle was informed of the Empire's waters in the demonic territory of Sesshomaru were much better than that of the East. It was a shame the three tails couldn't leave water for only a short time, but that was life, and not even Naruto could change it. Now, where is Uchiha Madara? Said Naruto while sensing the man was still here, but no doubt hiding, since the founding member of the Uchiha clan only fought when it was absolutely necessary, and in the meantime stayed in the shadows to let others fight his battles for him. But now there was no one left to fight for Madara anymore. He's here. His scent taints the place, said Inuyasha, seeing Naruto nod in agreement. Get the others out of here. This fight is between him and me, said Naruto, with the Inu demon lord looking at him carefully. Are you sure? Said Inuyasha, as he didn't want to question the young emperor, but the young demon lord wouldn't put it past Madara to pull something, and thus bring about victory from the jaws of defeat. I'm sure. This is a long overdue match. I have a personal score to settle with him, said Naruto, seeing Inuyasha nod. Fair enough. Kick this guys for all of us too, said Inuyasha in a tone which made Naruto smirk, and give a mock salute. Naturally. Now get out of here, you crazy dog, said Naruto before Inuyasha left quickly to leave the young emperor in the darkness of the room. That was smart of you sending him away. I would have experimented the use of my eyes on him and no doubt caused you quite a few problems, said Madara, appearing from the shadows, no longer wearing his Tobi disguise, but the crimson samurai armor he had worn in the past, and a sword of his own in hand. Yes, it was smart, but not in the way you think, as your eyes don't work on the likes of him, and they never will again. Kyuubi is no longer you. Pet, as I purged that weakness from him, and he is now his own demon, said Naruto, seeing Madara scowl at that tidbit of news. I heard the rumors from Konoha about that, but I didn't want to believe them since it was Danzo, who tried to use powers beyond his understanding, and was not even an Uchiha by blood, said Madara, with Naruto shaking his head. You speak as though it would make a difference. It wouldn't. Your Sharingan eyes only worked on the Biju, and even then I've removed that weakness from each one now living in the Empire. I've robbed you of your eyes' true power, said Naruto, seeing Madara's eyes narrow in anger at how his plan to enter the Empire and use his eyes to do that while causing unrest in the western demonic territories of the Empire to cover his escape. I see. Well, the next best thing for me to have for a victory is your head to mount on my wall, then show to your future wife, and soon to be future widow, said Madara, seeing the blonde laugh at him like he just told a joke. You think just because I've had peace for a few years within the Empire that I would just stop training, and staying strong to keep it together? I've been training constantly with my best warriors to stay in tip-top shape, and I know for a fact that everyone involved in my training was much stronger than you, said Naruto, while seeing Madara getting angrier at the mention of those in the West being stronger than him. Let's see you back up those claims, boy, said Madara, as he got ready to fight, and so did Naruto. Oh, I will, Madara, and don't bother trying to flee using that time-space jutsu of yours. I placed seals outside this place, which disables all abilities of that nature, and yes, that also includes the Hiraishin jutsu, said Naruto, smirking at Madara. You would do that to yourself. I knew the Uzumaki honor in you would do something extremely stupid, but I didn't expect this, and I must say your honor seems to be the twin of your own stupidity, said Madara, while Naruto just smirked further. Then you should have no reason to complain. Now shut your mouth and fight, said Naruto, as he charged Madara, and the Uchiha did the same with their swords clashing. You're pretty good. You're doing much better than your father, said Madara, as they battled in Kenjutsu, trying to decapitate the other, and bring about their own victory. I have long since surpassed my father in the form of natural speed. What's your excuse for not doing the same? Said Naruto, as he saw Madara frown at him, and rolled away from the vertical sword swing aimed at cutting through him from the left shoulder on down. I've been busy, said Madara, seeing Naruto smirk. You mean you've been lazy? Always having other people do your dirty work doesn't exactly strain the muscles. You've used that time-space thing with your eyes. I bet you have forgotten what running through the trees feels like, and feeling the muscles working overtime in getting to a destination. The building up of stamina in the long run, as you move your body to its limit, and then the training one does physically, has no doubt been negligent, said Naruto, seeing Madara scowl even deeper. My Senju rival did weaken me. I'm not at my full strength, said Madara, as he saw the Uzumaki smirk. Excuses. Do you know how many times I've been weakened in combat? Countless times, and yet I pushed myself to become greater than I was because it's what strong people do. You took the coward's way out. You used your eyes like the rest of the Uchiha clan to cheat to gain victory. What about your honor in winning in a fair manner? Said Naruto, seeing Madara getting angrier with each passing second. Shinobi don't play fair. We never have. Honor has nothing to do with our way of life. Honorable shinobi get killed sooner than later because they stand in the light when they should stand in the shadows. The Senju and Uzumaki clans learned that the hard way in life before they crumbled to nearly a handful of people, said Madara, with Naruto being the one to scowl. No. That's where you're wrong. It wasn't them standing in the light that got them killed. They thrived in the light. It made them stronger. It was people like you, who were jealous of their ability to walk in the light, that cause our near destruction, and yet you forget one thing about light, Madara, said Naruto, seeing Madara frown in confusion. And what is that? Said Madara, before he felt a sword through his back and the Naruto in front of him go, poof. Before his Sharingan eyes, he had been fighting a shadow clone. Since when? Darkness will always yield to the power of light no matter what. Wood style. Leech tree jutsu. Said Naruto, before making one-handed hand signs and stomped the ground before it erupted with a tree wrapping around Madara's body. What the? This is impossible, said Madara, as he was surprised Naruto could use his rival's power, and wondered how this was even possible. Surprised? You weren't the only one. I was shocked to know I had Senju blood in me. It was then Kyuubi learned a very interesting thing about me and how it happened, said Naruto before whispering the secret into Madara's ear and felt the man stiffen in shock while the tree consumed all except his face in its trunk. There was only one Senju woman at the time of your mother's pregnancy and she was the only capable of performing such a procedure, said Madara, as he saw Naruto walk around to face him, and cleaning the blade of his sword. That's right. Meaning in a way, Senju Tsunade was partially my mother too, if only to a slight degree, and technicality after my real mother died bringing me into this world. I have no doubts she knew about my connection to her outside of being my godmother, which strangely enough makes Tsunade look like an even bigger pile of walking human crap than you, and will get her just desserts soon because of it. It's almost a shame you won't live long enough to see it, said Naruto before snapping his fingers, as Madara cried out in pain, and felt the tree feeding off of him. What is this tree doing? Said Madara, as he felt his strength fading with each passing second, and it leaving his body in a way not unlike a giant leech sucking away blood. It's draining you. Hence the name of the jutsu. I don't know how long you'll last given how long you've been alive due to your eyes, but I do know it's going to be an agonizing wait for death to claim your soul, and one that is long overdue, said Naruto walking away from Madara's trapped form. When Naruto left the room, a sound of an explosion, and cave-in later gave Madara a tomb worthy of his station as the founding member of the Uchiha clan. A tomb filled with blood, destruction, and death. The fire daimyo was feeling uneasy at the moment, which he had every right to be, as he had several agents of the Western Elemental Empire before him, holding Uchiha Itachi prisoner, and waiting for their emperor to arrive. The feudal lord knew with his own army of samurai here in the capital of his lands, these agents would kill them easily, and himself should they even suspect there are thoughts about betraying the emperor upon his arrival. Of course, the fire daimyo had no intention of doing that, as this was the Yondaime's son, and the former Kyuubi Jinchuriki had done a great deal for the east, and the west with the latter becoming an empire of incredible power. Already, Earth, Rice, and Lightning Country had surrendered to the empire's might. Iwa was a shadow of its former self after their failed invasion attempt in breaching the wall and Orochimaru's forces were wiped out along with the Sannin himself with his chosen right hand sharing the same fate. Lightning Country also submitted with the new Lightning Daimyo, who had replaced his war-hungry predecessor, had surrendered with Kumo following soon after with the Hachibi extracted from their Jinchuriki. And now these imperial agents watching for anything and everything just told him that the Akatsuki was no more. It's hard to imagine that things have gone so far out of hand and yet, things have been stabilized from this chaos. Maybe this is Kami's way of removing the poison from our lands. All this corruption, greed, chaos, and thirst for greater power without regard for the consequences of our actions has led to everything here today. The East has been poisoned by all these things and the Emperor's methods seem to be the only cure, thought the fire daimyo, as he saw Naruto come in on horseback with his generals, dismount, and walk over to where Itachi was currently sitting via his knees on the floor. Fire Daimyo-sama, it's good to see you after all this time despite all the truly horrible circumstances with the chaos happening around us, and the evils behind them trying to spread their wickedness, said Naruto seeing the feudal lord nod, as visiting the man was one of the things the Namikaze had done at times in secret, and talk about the future of the world. They discussed politics, philosophy, and general direction the world was heading without someone responsible making sure the world wasn't destroyed. They had secretly come to an agreement that in the event things progressed to this point, a plan of sorts had to be put into motion, and bring about the needed balance of the entire continent. Not just one side of the landscape, but all of the lands needed to be calmed, and needed a strong leader to ensure it happened. Now Uchiha Itachi, you are going to tell the fire daimyo everything about your time in Konoha, the Akatsuki, and the true reason behind the Uchiha massacre, said Naruto, as he put an ironclad grip on Itachi's shoulder, and the Uchiha whimpered slightly knowing what was about to happen. And afterwards, said Itachi seeing the grin on Naruto's face. You get your long-awaited wish Itachi. The wish of dying for your crimes, said Naruto before motioning for the Uchiha to tell the fire daimyo the truth. I understand Naruto and I just want to say. I'm glad it was you who did this, said Itachi while looking back at Naruto with a smile before turning his head to fully face the fire daimyo and tell the man everything. Konoha sometime later. I can't believe this. That brat is taking over the east, said Tsunade, as she received word of Naruto's conquest, and how the defeated countries of the east along with their shinobi villages had kneeled to their new emperor. The prophecy, said Jiraiya more to himself than Tsunade. What? Not that nonsense again, said Tsunade, as she had heard it all before from the man after Naruto's banishment, and told him not to rely on things from the toads. It makes sense though. I did teach the Gaki, if only for a short time, and just look what is happening around us. The man is taking control. The different feudal lords of the East know they can't defy him and have no intention of doing so, with Naruto letting them stay the way they are in return for their cooperation. My contacts in the Wind Daimyo's court has informed me that the feudal lord wished to become part of the empire, offering up a sizable tribute to prove it, but Naruto respectfully told the feudal lord that a tribute was not necessary, and just his loyalty was enough for him. Rice country is the same way, as it was sacked easily by Naruto's force, and changed its status from temporarily annexed to permanently annexed into the empire. The kid is devouring lands left and right without lifting a finger, while his reputation in being a fair emperor doing the work for him, said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade seething at this. My grandfather was the same way with the shinobi villages. He was respected to such a level that few dared challenge him. It seems he's inherited more from me than just some of my genetic traits from the Senju clan, said Tsunade, while Jiraiya shook his head at her. Is that so bad? Do you really want to fight him, Tsunade? Over. Whatever it is, you find this need to fight him that I can't get my head around, said Jiraiya, while Tsunade just scowled deeply at him. Of course I do. I will fight him with everything I am, Jiraiya. That boy is not worthy of the life given to him by that damn procedure my grandfather used, said Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya become saddened by her words. You do realize that if it wasn't for that very procedure used to get Kushina pregnant with Minato's child, you wouldn't even exist either, since your grandmother had the same thing done to herself, and brought your own mother into this world, said Jiraiya, while he got a death glare for his troubles. Never say that to me again, or I will beat you literally to death, Jiraiya, said Tsunade, while Jiraiya sighed and nodded. I won't. It's the first and last time I'll say it to you, Tsunade. Hell, I only said it because I was hoping to knock some sense into you, and let the truth snap your head out of this hate that's tainting your soul, said Jiraiya, seeing the woman not looking him in the eyes. I know what I feel in my heart right now for that brat. I don't know if it's hate, spite, or something else I can't put into words. What I do know is that these feelings tell me to make sure Naruto does not win, and I will fight the Gaki with everything in my body, said Tsunade, while Jiraiya's face looked pained. You're going to regret this, Tsunade. The village has seen its last days. The Fire Daimyo has ordered the liquidation of Konoha at Naruto's request, with the Emperor coming here to do the job himself, said Jiraiya, seeing Tsunade smirking slightly. Let him come. I'll fix the mistake I made when the Yondaime asked me to perform the procedure to assist in Kushina getting pregnant, said Tsunade, while Jiraiya looked away from her. Kushina would be devastated to hear you say that, said Jiraiya, while sensing Tsunade shooting him a dirty look. As she would be with you, said Tsunade, with Jiraiya nodding. I know that, Tsunade. And I've regretted doing that every single day since the order was signed. It's only now that the weight of it has practically reached its zenith. It's a shame. The guilt you should be feeling right now is lighter than air, said Jiraiya before leaving the room before Tsunade could shoot back a response. Konoha streets. Word reached the populace of the village of the Fire Daimyo ordering the Leaf's official liquidation, orders that the Fire Daimyo made to prove his allegiance to Naruto after his lands became annexed into the empire without resistance, and would be performed by the emperor himself. Many civilians were scrambling to their homes to get their families to hide in the shelters, believing the shinobi of the Leaf would protect them, and defeat this vile emperor they had once scorned when the former Jinchuriki lived here. Even now, the shinobi were preparing a defense against the emperor, his forces being brought against them, and hoped to at least go down fighting valiantly in a manner befitting the village's once great reputation. Even now, the people blamed Naruto not only for the Leaf's fall from power after his banishment, but the Fire Daimyo's decision to order the majority of them meet a soon-to-be demise, and at the hands of the former Jinchuriki no less. Among the shinobi working on defending their homes, yet not doing anything at the same time, were the Konohamaru Corps, currently leaning against the walls of an alley, and watching the people running around in a semi-panic. The three knew their boss was coming here to Konoha, to do what needed to be done, and that it was the only way to purge the bad blood from this place. Agents of the Empire were already in Konoha, under disguise of foreign merchants, simple travelers, and holy monks on a pilgrimage of sorts, with the village being a place to stop before continuing further on their travels. That was the official cover, but unofficially those agents never left, and had been in the shadows waiting for the order to strike. The Emperor was to attack from the outside of the leaf while the agents inside struck from their assigned areas to weaken it further. It's finally happened, said Konohamaru, seeing the others nod. Statistically it was bound to happen sooner or later, said Udon, having done the math in his head. They brought it on themselves, said Moegi before looking deeper into the alley and a figure in white wearing a hood that covered his face in shadow. I bring word from the Emperor himself. He requires your assistance on bringing down the northern wall of the village where most of the Leaf Shinobi are moving to protect, since they know he's heading towards Konoha from that general area, said the figure with the Konohamaru core. Nodding. How big of an army is the boss bringing? Said Konohamaru with the figure smirking at him. Do you really need to ask Sarutobi Konohamaru? The man is an army unto himself, said the figure before walking backwards into the shadows while Konohamaru let out a chuckle. Of course he is, said Konohamaru before motioning for his teammates to follow him. Are they on the move? Said a figure with long red hair tied in a samurai ponytail and a X-shaped scar on his cheek. I just spoke to them. I can see they are loyal to the Emperor. The pair at the ramen stand were extracted using the secret underground base Danzo used for his root division, said the white-robed figure from the Assassin's Guild. What about the other remaining rookie 9? Maeda Guy's old genin team. Spare or kill, said the red-haired figure. Avoid them for now until further orders. Disable them if you fight, but do not kill until further ordered, and only by the Emperor, said the assassin, seeing the figure nod. Saito and his Shinsengumi are also in position, said the red-haired swordsman with the assassin nodding. Yes. Await the signal to begin. It will come in the form of a crimson flare I will launch from the Hokage monument on top of the Yondaime Hokage's head, said the assassin with the swordsman nodding. Understood, said the red-haired swordsman. Stain the ground with the blood of the guilty Hitokiri Batosai, said the assassin before vanishing into the shadows once more. As is expected from a member of the Ishin Shishi Patriots, said the Batosai simply. Outside Konoha. Are you ready for this, Naruto-kun? Said Hinata, seeing the spiky blonde Emperor nod. I am. Are you ready? What must be done is not something you can just wish to happen quickly and, said Naruto, but he was silenced by Hinata putting a finger on his lips, and then that was replaced by her lips. You need to do this. We need to do this, my love. Let us put our ghosts to rest and bring peace to this world, said Hinata, as she saw him nod, and caress her hands while one of his fingers touched her ring finger with a ring holding green jewel on it. The green jewel that was once the Shadaime's necklace had been altered to become the Empress's ring. Then let us do this, together, said Naruto with Hinata nodding. Together, said Hinata before giving him another loving kiss, and the two of them began their march towards Konoha. Creating an army of shadow clones, Naruto sent them forward with Konoha's forces waiting for him, and Hinata with weapons at the ready. However, before a single kunai, shuriken, or jutsu could be launched at the Imperial pair, a massive explosion tore through the wall, sensing shinobi everywhere. The army of Naruto's charged forward, a flare shot up from the Hokage monument, exploding in the air, and generating a crimson glow that covered all of the village in its haunting light. Explosions rocked different areas. Agents of the Empire struck surprised Konoha shinobi in different defensive positions within the village, carving a path of death and destruction like they had done hundreds of times before in their lives. Everywhere around the village, Imperial swordsmen, shinobi, and warrior monks appeared fighting Leaf Shinobi. As for Hinata, she was now being attacked by her so-called father, and a sizable group of her clan. Hiashi had called her a failure, the Emperor's whore, and see to it that she was never allowed to have any children with him should she survive this. Hinata was not intimidated by her father, as she had been training hard since coming to the Empire, and had become stronger under the teachers Naruto had assigned to her overall development. Hiashi let his clansmen fight Hinata first, thinking they would be able to do the job for him, and thus keep his hands clean in destroying his daughter. She surprised him in a shocking display of skill, as Hinata used her own style of gentle fist, and decimated each Hyuga her father sent in his place. When the last one fell, only Hinata and her father remained to fight it out in many would consider a dispute a parent has with their grown-up child. How could you do this to me? To me and the clan, said Hiashi sharply at Hinata. How could I not? I love Naruto-kun. I always will. Even now, you would denounce our union, and hurt me to get to him. Why? Didn't you know what it means to love with my mother? Said Hinata, seeing Hiashi scoff at the mention of the sacred word. Love has nothing to do with the Hyuga clan. It's as foreign as the word freedom is to the branch family of our clan. We do not marry for love. Your mother did so with such nativity, when the reason I did it was to appease the elders, since she once came from an influential noble house, and had the ears of the fire daimyo. They long since fell out of grace with him at that time, but by then I was already married, and she was carrying you, so removing her was out of the question, said Hiashi, as he lashed out at Hinata with his version of gentle fist, and she blocked every single strike he tried to hit her with. And when she died, was that because she found out the truth? Or did you do it on the orders of the elders? Said Hinata, as she launched her own counter-attack on him, and pushed Hiashi back several feet with the man coughing up blood. I don't know how you found out about that little secret, but I guarantee it will never be spoken from your lips again, and will go with you to your grave. Said Hiashi, as he once again charged towards Hinata, and found himself unable to land a strike against his more agile daughter. No, you will take it to yours, said Hinata, as she unleashed her fury on Hiashi for every match against her sister, her cousin, and spars he made her do, knowing she would lose because of her hesitation in hurting family. Hinata smashed in his ribs, shred his internal organs, and broke every single bone within Hiashi's body while unleashing all the frustration this man had built up inside of her. All the put-downs, all the beating that were ignored by others simply because he called them spars, and disregarding her feelings in general, all for the sake of a selfish clan that cared little to nothing about others. All the Hyuga clan cared about was the Hyuga clan, the archaic traditions, and the only reason they served Konoha was because it benefited them in keeping the clan in a secure position they could never have with any other village. Hinata was tired of these traditions. She was tired of her clan in general. It was time for a change. Damn Heim. Remind me to never make you angry, said a shadow clone of Naruto in a joking manner while the real man himself was heading for the Hokage Tower to speak to his godparents. You never could. Let's round up the other rookies. Only when the smoke clears will we decide what to do with them, said Hinata, seeing the shadow clone of Naruto give her a kiss, then a mock salute. You got it. You heard her, boys. Round them all up hogtie style. Yeehaw, said the shadow clone while Hinata just blinked before letting out a chuckle. Naruto-kun's shadow clones can be so weird sometimes, thought Hinata, knowing that they had their occasional glitches. Hokage Tower. An Anbu lay on the ground, his mask sliced in half from the slash of Naruto's sword after cutting him down, and the blonde emperor made his way to the Hokage's office. His blue eyes were colder than ice, harder than steel, and burning with fury, hotter than the sun itself. Shinobi came out of every corner trying to stop him, but lethal taijutsu, or sword strikes, made them fall down dead. Blood stained the hallways, bodies littered the floors, and all at Naruto's hands. His footsteps echoed throughout the tower, almost like a heartbeat at a steady pace, with one foot moving in front of the other, and on the path that would take him to the Hokage's office. A room, which at one point, Naruto thought would one day call his own when becoming Hokage, and protector of this village. Only for that very dream to die on the day of his banishment, ordered by the Hokage herself, and face the penalty of death should he ever return. The latter being overridden, of course, by the fire daimyo in a short span of a few months, but the man no longer cared about that, as Tsunade no longer had the strength, or the right mind to back up any threat she wished to carry out against him. Her troops were losing the fight outside. The fire daimyo had ordered the village be liquidated, with the survivors being left to rebuild as a way to make sure they remember this little lesson in humility, and the woman herself was tucked away in her cozy office with Jiraiya. Without much restraint, he kicked the office doors down, and walked inside to see his two intended targets waiting for him. No Anbu were in the room, which meant either they had prepared a trap of some kind with seals, or they were confident in taking him down themselves. It's been a while, old hag. Still hiding your ugly face behind that genjutsu of yours, I see, said Naruto with a smirk on his face. You have some nerve coming back here, Naruto. You were told what would happen if you did, said Tsunade, rising from her seat. That you did. However, I do believe the fire daimyo removed that little stipulation of your regarding my banishment, and that I could do just about anything I wanted upon my return here to this shithole. Or has your brain forgotten that much? Said Naruto, seeing Tsunade frown at him. Return Shizune and Anko back to the village, said Tsunade, with Naruto shaking his head no. Why? So you can punish them. Why are you even asking me in the first place? Doesn't matter. What matters is they are safe and out of your reach. Don't you ever wonder who sent those medical records to the fire daimyo and raised red flags over the village in the first place? Said Naruto, seeing Tsunade's eyes widen. I knew it. Only she could have gotten access to them. But how did it get sent to the fire daimyo? Said Tsunade, while Naruto let out a chuckle. It's not hard to figure out. There is only one team that left the village with their sensei on a trip to the capital of Fire Country during that time the file was taken. That same genin team, recently graduated mind you, that has not abandoned me, and even now are helping in the fall of Konoha, said Naruto, seeing Tsunade's eyes widen, knowing who that team was since she sent them there after they graduated. The Konohamaru Corps. Delivered it, said Tsunade to herself. They pushed themselves so hard afterwards and graduated early. The fire daimyo was so impressed with them, he wanted to see the Sandame's grandson for himself, and see if the boy was indeed just like sensei, said Jiraiya, remembering how the entire village was talking about it. They didn't take my banishment very well. Shizune approached them before leaving and secretly handed Konohamaru the files. Told him to hand it only to the fire daimyo, said Naruto, seeing the woman before him fuming in anger. That bitch. After all I've done for her, said Tsunade, with Naruto scoffing. All you've done for her? Please. How many times has she had to cover the exit when you ran away from your debts? How many times has she had to be your eyes when you went out drinking? Who was it that put up with all your vices day in and day out since leaving the village? If anything, you owe her, and it's high time you paid all your debts to the people you cheated from, said Naruto, seeing Tsunade's eyes narrow at him. I haven't cheated anyone, said Tsunade, with Naruto raising an eyebrow. Really? Let's look back at that statement, shall we? You have cheated me out of a life. You have cheated Shizune out of a life. Hell, you even cheated Jiraiya here out of a life with you, and your narrow-minded arrogance, said Naruto, seeing Tsunade slam her fist through the desk, which signified to him that she had enough, and was ready to fight. Enough. I don't need a simple-minded gaki, who has delusions of grandeur, telling me how to do things, and judging my actions in the aftermath of them all. You are not the Hokage of this village, Naruto. I am. If I want to cheat you, Hinata, Jiraiya, Shizune, and even the Konohamaru Corps out of a life, then I will. Said Tsunade, while not caring that Jiraiya was in the room hearing this. He had put up with it since they were genin. The man could take one more hit to his male pride. I see. Then I'm going to do what I came here to do, said Naruto, taking a step forward, but stopped when his instincts, honed from years of training, had screamed out for him to stop, and saw the look in his godparent's eyes to dare him in taking the next step forward. One more step. Take one more step, damn you. Thought Tsunade, as she saw Naruto was one step away from defeat, and the Leaf's survival. However, Naruto was not about to give the woman what he wanted, as he drew upon his vast reserves of chakra, and in a surprising move had spread it over the entire room. The Hokage's office glowed for a second, showing the seal designs covering the entire room, which upon being activated from what the Emperor could see from the designs would bind his body, seal off his chakra, and basically leave Naruto at their mercy before they shattered in front trio in the room. Nice try. You almost had me. I was so sure the shinobi I cut down throughout the tower was your only line of defense against me, but then you have Jiraiya do this, and explain the crudeness of your actions to lure me in. Not bad. However, you're facing someone who had been in danger so many times in his life, developed a danger sense, and instincts enhanced from years of battle, said Naruto, seeing the woman growl in anger. You still can't win, said Jiraiya finally, though his eyes didn't have the conviction in them that Tsunade's did. Prove it. Fight me. Both of you. Right now, said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya hesitate, but Tsunade charged forward, using the super strength in her legs to move faster than a normal person would, and closed the gap instantly before taking a swing. She missed. Tsunade moved furiously in an attempt to hit Naruto, but the Namikaze was too fast for her, as he had trained with those that made his godmother's speed seem like she was a snail in a rabbit's world, and caused the Hokage to stumble in the end of her latest punch. He easily tripped the female Hokage, which caused her to hit the wall, and made Tsunade look like a complete fool. Tsunade snarled at Naruto, her forehead bleeding above where the jewel was, and once more tried to decimate the spiky blonde with a super strength enhanced hit. Yet she kept on missing. Jiraiya tried his own hand in helping Tsunade while wishing he could go into Sage mode to combat Naruto, but the Toads had long since cut him off, and even then the Sannin had doubts the form would make a difference in fighting Naruto. His one-time student had gotten stronger from years of training and being knee-deep in war in the West when it was divided. Meanwhile, Jiraiya had been spending his time peeping on women, and Tsunade had been stuck behind a desk doing paperwork with any real training, with what she was doing now being more from instinct than actual training. "Hold still, brat," said Tsunade, as she aimed a kick at him, but he dodged, and hit her with a kick his own that sent the Hokage flying out the window into the village below. "Rasengan," said Jiraiya, who aimed the deadly attack at his godson's back, but Naruto had quickly spun around, and caught the Sannin's hand at the wrist with the orb of energy a few inches from his face. "You've both gotten so slow. So stale. I would say your age has something to do with it, but I know for a fact being older is not a factor here with either of you, and it's just your slacking off that's caused you to be so weak. It's sad to think that you were once arguably the strongest shinobi in the East after all that you've been through, and yet I can easily crush you with ease because of your lack of training. I vowed long ago to never become like that, Jiraiya. Do you know why I made such a vow? So I wouldn't become like you and Tsunade in using my title as emperor to give me what I wanted. You and Tsunade did that when you left the Leaf. Abusing your traveling rights to peep on women or drink while gambling at casinos to blow away your money. Disgusting," said Naruto before he broke Jiraiya's arm, then the leg, and landed 5 hits to the man's chest area in hitting all 5 pressure points. What did you hit me with?" said Jiraiya, as he fell to his knees, and spit out blood from his mouth. "The 5-finger palm of death. A great taijutsu master taught me that move. His name was Pai Mei. The man was considered the best in Eagle Claw taijutsu and could pull out a person's eye in a single strike. Pai Mei was known to be the best in fighting, had little love for Easterners, and most people when they seek him out to train. He hated me from the start when I first sought him out for training. When he asked me what I knew of the ways of taijutsu, I told him I knew little to nothing because no one would teach me due to my Jinchuriki status, and thus was a blank slate. Surprisingly, he laughed, called me smart donkey for knowing when not to make an out of myself, and wished to see if I had any potential in taijutsu at all," said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya unable to stand on his own 2 legs. "Must have been a real sadist then if you got stronger under him," said Jiraiya before he spit out some blood. "Oh yeah, I fought and lost to him big time. But I took my beating well. I had heard the stories of how he hated disrespectful people and those that glared at him with some kind of defiance. Just by looking or insulting him was enough to bring about death to someone generating it at the man. Knowing this, I stayed humble, contrite in learning all he had to teach, and was impressed that I held my tongue so well when Pai Mei knew there was so much I wanted to say. When my training was complete, I asked him about the very move I used on you, and asked if it was possible for him to teach me that move since no one had ever been taught it from the rumors," said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya finally stand up, but stayed on his one good leg, and keep his balance. "What did he say?" said Jiraiya while using a chair to support himself. Pai Mei said, "If you can land one solid hit on my body, I will teach you this difficult and deadly move that no other outside of myself knows how to use, with the 2 of us soon fighting each other in pure taijutsu. It wasn't easy, but in the end, I earned the right, and became his only student among a handful he trained to ever learn this deadly move," said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya put a hand on his chest where his heart was located. "And what does it do exactly?" said Jiraiya, seeing Naruto walking to the hole where the window had once been. "It attacks all of the pressure points around the heart. Right now you can only walk up to 5 steps before your heart explodes on the 5th step," said Naruto, seeing Jiraiya's eyes widen in shock. "So my next 5 steps will be my last, huh? Talk about getting to the heart of the matter," said Jiraiya before letting out a small laugh and coughing up blood in the process. "Use them wisely, for these 5 whole steps will literally become your last, Jiraiya," said Naruto before he leapt out the window to engage Tsunade in combat. Well, at least I get to choose where to have my last walk, said Jiraiya, as he looked at the hole in the wall, and started walking towards it to see Konoha one last time. It was on his fifth step that Jiraiya felt his heart explode, right at the wall's massive hole, and the Sannin collapsed onto the ground with his eyes taking in the village for what would be his last time doing so. As for Naruto, he saw Tsunade was nowhere to be found, and yet sensed she was nearby while masking her chakra to stay under his radar. Even if she succeeded in doing that, Naruto had long since learned to sense others without chakra being a means to find them, and could easily sense her bloodlust targeting him for his actions. His sword at the ready, Naruto prepared himself for the fury he knew would soon be coming his way, and sensed Tsunade's bloodlust spike with anger. She still expects me to move around blindly. Has Tsunade's mind become so lost within whatever it is about me she hates that her shinobi training suffers for it, thought Naruto, as he closed his eyes, and got into a guard position. Sure enough, Tsunade leapt out of her hiding spot above a nearby building, preparing to hit the spiky blonde with a vicious right that would splatter his brains everywhere, and end this matter permanently. She was so sure that Naruto, despite all that he had become in the years since his banishment, was still the same old dumb, hyperactive knucklehead of a blonde, who didn't think before acting, and had little to no control over his emotions when it came to fighting. This is the end, said Tsunade, as she threw her punch, which missed when he ducked, and he stabbed upward. Yes, it is, said Naruto before his eyes widened when Tsunade went poof, to reveal she was a shadow clone. And the real one came out from underneath him with her fist connecting with Naruto's face. Foolish boy. You will never beat me. Just like when we first met, said Tsunade with a smirk on her face, but it left when Naruto went poof, and revealed that he was in fact a shadow clone. That was then when I had little to no shinobi training worth having. Even then, I made you use more than one finger, and deflated your ego in the process, said Naruto from behind and piercing her back with his sword. Impossible, said Tsunade in surprise, as she fell to her knees, and Naruto pulled out his weapon from her body. I'm an Uzumaki, remember. Pulling off the impossible has always been on the forefront of my resume. It's in the blood, said Naruto, as he saw her clutch her chest, and just look back at him defiantly while blood leaked out of her mouth. So am I. Or have you forgotten? Said Tsunade, as she slammed her hand down, picked up a large chunk of the ground, and took a swing at him. Only for Naruto to quickly grab the offending appendage at the wrist, spun the shocked woman around, and put it on the brink of being broken off with additional pressure. The Senju fell to her knees, crying out in pain, as her usual super strength was powerless in this position, and knew any attempt to free herself would result in the removal of the limb in Naruto's possession. You may be part Uzumaki on your grandmother's side of the family, but you have none of the imagination, or their spirit for doing what was right. You are not worthy of being my godmother. You're not worthy of being part Uzumaki. This was over before I even had my agents infiltrate the village. Hell, this was over long before that, and the signs of it were made apparent when all of Konoha's allies left this place to rot. I was supposed to be the embodiment of Konoha's soul, its heart, its mind, and ultimately its future like my father wished me to become after Kyuubi was sealed into me. You, Jiraiya, the councils, and the people within this village killed that hope the moment someone called out for my death. It was ruined when people tried to destroy me when I was growing up, and it was destroyed beyond repair on the day you signed the order to have me banished. This place is a cancer-infested village with the cancer being arrogance. I am the cure. I always was now that I think about it. Though the method on how this village was to be cured of the disease was to be based on how bad the cancer within was before I could purge it from its very heart, said Naruto, tightening his grip further, and made Tsunade cry out in pain. This will accomplish nothing. You will be seen as nothing more than a butcher to all of the remaining survivors, said Tsunade while still trying to think of a way to break free without the breaking off of her arm. That all depends on who the survivors are, Tsunade. I've decided that you will not be one of them, said Naruto coldly while Tsunade grit her teeth and was getting weaker by the second due to her injuries. Then finish it. If you were really the righteous emperor like your people claim you to be, then you'd do the honorable thing, and end my life right now, said Tsunade angrily before Naruto's sword went through the back of her skull and out the front. As you wish, mother, said Naruto coldly with a hint of sarcasm and let her body hit the ground before walking away without regret. He had stopped regretting this moment for a long time. My emperor, said Hattori Hanzo, as he appeared before Naruto, and kneeled in front of the imperial leader. Report, said Naruto to his deadly shinobi. Victory is ours. The remaining rookie 9 of your generation have been rounded up, as have their senseis, and awaiting your judgment, said Hattori Hanzo, seeing Naruto nod before walking away. It's not just my judgment they will face, Hattori Hanzo. They will also be judged by your empress too, said Naruto with Hattori Hanzo walking behind him now. A most cruel fate indeed, said Hattori Hanzo while clearly relishing the thought of his emperor's enemies quivering in fear at the feet of emperor and empress. Not cruel, Hattori Hanzo. It's justified, said Naruto before they eventually made it to the village square where what was left of the rookie 9, Tenten, Neji, their parents, and all their former senseis were on their knees, defeated. Naruto-kun, said Hinata, as she hugged her future husband, and he returned it along with a passionate kiss. Hello Hinata-chan. Miss me, said Naruto before she kissed him further. You have no idea, my love. Now, let us decide the future of our former friends, and leave this tainted place so we can at last be married, said Hinata, seeing Naruto smile at her. Agreed. Anything you teens wish to say before we pass sentence? Said Naruto with his arm wrapped around Hinata's waist. We're sorry, Naruto. We all are, said Shikamaru, seeing Naruto narrow his eyes at him. We wronged you, Naruto. We thought illogically. Nothing we say can make up for it, said Shino, knowing the time had come to meet his end. We just listened to our parents. I mean, how could we not listen to them when growing up? They told us you were a monster and we believed them since they are our parents, said Ino, seeing Hinata getting angry. And you couldn't see for yourself that they were wrong. How many times has Naruto bled for this village with you witnessing it? Yet they say he's a monster and you believe them, said Hinata while holding back the urge to slap Ino's teeth right out of her mouth. We screwed up. Plain and simple, said Kiba while feeling the anger from both Hinata and Naruto aimed at him. Screwed up. Oh, you did more than that, Kiba. You saw Hinata as a prize. A trophy. You believed me to be a demon, on the words of your bitch of a mother, and was blinded by your own jealousy when seeing Hinata's affection was aimed at myself. Even when you learned the truth of my status, as the emperor of the Western Elemental Empire, you had the nerve to demand Hinata be returned to Konoha for your wedding, and you even dared to make such a demand in my house. Said Naruto, his fury raging in his blue eyes like a storm that made Kiba whimper in fear. I was wrong. All right. I was jealous of you. Hinata looks at you and sees a god. I hated you for that, and Kyuubi being sealed in your gut just drove me to hate you more. Mom had said it didn't matter if the two of you were separate or not. All that mattered was I take what was rightfully mine from you and prove I was more worthy of Hinata over you, said Kiba before Hinata struck him hard across the face. You will never be more worthy of me than Naruto-kun. Never in 1,000 years. All you ever cared about was rutting with me like some kind of horny animal and getting me pregnant with your bastard children. When I wasn't pregnant, you'd have me cooking, cleaning, and more rutting until you got bored with my body before finding some tramp to get you off on the side. Don't deny it, Kiba. I heard you brag about your intentions to your fellow clansmen, said Hinata, as she saw him look away, and knew he couldn't talk his way out of it. I love Hinata-chan. My heart beats only for her and no other woman to the end of my days. To see someone like yourself look at her the way you have makes me want to pluck out your eyes as punishment for all the times you've leered at Hinata with greed and lust in them, said Naruto while the idea was becoming more and more appealing. No. Mercy, said Tsume before Naruto's eyes were upon her now. Mercy. Why should I show your pathetic excuse for a son mercy? Why should show you, his mother of all people, who first poisoned his mind and heart with lies, an instant of the mercy you beg of me right now? The kind of mercy you denied me when I was a child. No. There will be no mercy, said Naruto, as he snapped his fingers, and well over 100 shinobi appeared at his command. You called for us, my emperor, said Aoshi, seeing the fury on the emperor's face. Bring them to the west. They will meet their end there, said Naruto before his forces took them all away. And this village, said Hattori Hanzo with Naruto looking at the place that was once his home. Burn it down. Get its people out of this place so we can see who lives to see its new future. We will have it rebuilt from scratch. Every clan parchment will be seized, every scroll preserved, and kept locked away until the new Leaf Village rises from the ashes of the old. Remove the fifth Hokage's head from the Hokage monument. It's an eyesore, said Naruto coldly before walking away with Hinata and let his shinobi carry out their orders. Epilogue 10 years later. Naruto watched from his place at the door leading out to the gardens, as his son played in the gardens with Hinata, laughing with joy shining in his light blue Byakugan eyes. The emperor smiled at the sight of his son having a day off from the intense training he was on to play with his mother while taking up the art of flower pressing. Their son, who they named Seiji, had been trained just like them in the ways of ruling the empire, which at this point covered all of the elemental countries being annexed into the empire, and a lasting peace had washed over it. Of course, it didn't mean Naruto could just sit on his throne, and let things just become stagnant like others have become. The emperor stayed vigilant, as he balanced personal and business life so neither would suffer. Naruto knew his son would succeed him, to continue on the legacy of the empire when he and Hinata were long gone from this world. The shinobi from the Leaf were all punished accordingly, as Naruto had imprisoned the surviving members of the Aburame clan, and let them out after 5 years. They were allowed back in the new Leaf Village under the new Hokage ruling over it. Sarutobi Konohamaru. The Nara clan got the same years of imprisonment, but did manual labor during that time to basically get laziness out of their system, and sent them back to the Leaf reborn anew. The same was done with the Yamanaka clan, who were sent to the demonic territories in the west under the supervision of Yoko Kurama, and made sure they understood the term humility. The Akamichi clan was scattered throughout the empire, sent to different construction projects, but the records for their location had been thorough so when their sentence was over, they could reunite again, and be a clan once more. The Inuzuka clan suffered the most, as Kiba and his mother were put to death with Tsume's daughter Hana being chosen by Naruto to take over as the new clan head. The Hyuga clan was divided into 2 clans, as Hyuga Neji ruled over one Hyuga clan with Tenten being his wife here in the west, and Hyuga Hanabi became clan head in the east in Konoha. The use of the cage bird seal was forever banned from both clans with an alternate seal being made so there was no sense of servitude and created unity within each one. Rock Lee never walked again. Naruto had forbidden any medical procedure being done to heal the man. Naruto had given Lee back his life when they were still genin and the man had betrayed him when loyalty mattered most. Maida Guy had come before the man, begging the emperor to reconsider, and was silenced by Naruto's rage-filled voice over the issue. In the end, Maida Guy had no choice, but to accept his fallen student's situation in being forever crippled, and continued to be the boy's guardian with the emperor's blessing upon making the request. To make ends meet, Guy became a taijutsu instructor, and judge at several taijutsu tournaments. Yuhi Kurenai returned with her husband to the Leaf, as he was now the clan head of the Sarutobi clan, and raised their child with humble beginnings. They knew mercy from the emperor was not something to squander and they made sure it never was with their child. Enko along with Shizune would occasionally come back to the Leaf to see their friend and talked about the old days before Konoha's rebirth happened. He's really something, said Naruto to his wife, as she came over to him, and gave him a passionate kiss before looking over at their son using chakra to manipulate the plants to grow. Yes, he certainly is. Takes after you in the pranking department though, said Hinata, as she giggled knowing some of the pranks had driven some of the guards somewhat crazy, and yet Naruto let it continue since it kept them on their toes. He wouldn't be an Uzumaki by blood if he didn't prank people. Takes after your gentle nature though, said Naruto, as his red-haired son moving over to the pond, and using his incredibly strong water affinity to manipulate the liquid to dance around him. But has a strong desire to help others and be strong enough to do it too, said Hinata, as she snuggled up closer to him, and felt Naruto's heartbeat quicken. I love you, said Naruto, as he kissed her head, and looked down at his wife. And I you, said Hinata before she returned it.